little bit behind this morning, so sorry guys. Yeah, anytime you're not hearing audio and my lips are moving, it's probably me forgetting to turn the mic on. But we're good now. I've got inertia cube to my left, ready to go on that as promised for you all. I've got CNC parts to my right, so those are ready to go in. I just need to do some work up here. What else? Got the main board, that's good to go. And the old one's out. So I'm hoping I don't have to do a lot of crimping and stripping today. I'm hoping that I can just sort of plug things in and call it good to go. We'll see. I think I need to do a couple of them just because the old main board used fork terminals and the Leviathan uses ferrules. So we have to swap those over, and hopefully I can use the same wiring. I think those look long enough, but yeah, how's everybody today? Anybody else going to Vice except for Reverend? Hey Tim Talon, hey Martin, hey Mike. Happy, thanks for the panels. They work great on Inertia Cube. I did not have Jeremy problems. The only thing I'm having an issue with is my click-clack door. The latching side of it doesn't want to latch all the way. And I don't know if that's because of the foam I have on here or the latch itself, but it doesn't really want to latch. So I need to take a look at that and make sure there's not an update or anything that I missed. But I'll show you guys what we're working with. Members only stream, so we can BS and do whatever we need to do today. I'm not seeing chat over here though. Strange. Either way. Cool, so this is the Inertia Cube. I got you a pretty close-up view of what's going on. This is where we had the main board last time, and that main board was the Corvus G. And so all the wiring is still in place. I just unplugged things and moved them out of the way. The other thing I need to do is work on this. This is the ESP, what is it? ESP 8266. This is supposed to be for the LEDs up top for the chamber, but they're not working correctly. And this is my first time using WLED, and so I need to do some research and get smart on that. But that's for another time. What I want to try to do today is get this main board inside here. Well, this is a chunky boy. This is about, I don't know, the entire add-on section of this board is bigger than what was in here before. And because I've got so much packed in, I don't know if this is going to fit. So because of this WLED and not really working the way that I would like it to, I may have to remove that and figure out another place to put it. And so for now, we might have to ditch it so I can put this board in here and actually have room for that to sit where it needs to be. But yeah, that's the challenge of using a Leviathan. As soon as you add on those two extra ports there for the all-wheel drive system on this, it just makes the board so large. It would almost be better to use a Kraken. But, I mean, this is what we got, and this is what we'll use. Also, the bracket here connects everything together, and you need 3 different latches to run it on a DIN rail. So this bracket is on printables. If you just search Leviathan with expansion board, you'll get this kind of thing. I think I might have needed to scale it just a little bit, because I don't know if you could tell on camera, but there's a slight bow to the board kind of in this direction. It's fine. It shouldn't hurt anything, but it's definitely not as big as it should be, I think. So we'll have to do a little bit of work there at a different date. Honestly, let's be real. It's probably not going to happen. I did bring up the manual just in case I need that for anything. If we end up getting to the firmware side of the house today, I do have the manual available, and I've got the what's it called, the Inertia Cube manual, or sorry, GitHub open as well. So this is one of those projects that I believe is still in beta. So there's not even a like a true release of this yet. It's still being worked on. Say what? Let's pull the ESP out of here first. Definitely have to relocate this to a better location. So what's everyone got planned for the Columbus Day weekend? Should be a 3-day for most folks, I imagine. I know Reverend's on his way to Vice. I was thinking I might go down to the Tustin Micro Center at some point. I don't exactly know what I need down there. I just kind of want to go and do something that's not here. Get pretty stir crazy and island fever hanging out over here all the time. Okay, so yeah, there's your Rainbow Shift 2.0. This is from Vector 3D if you're looking for that. You can get it with or without the WLED here. I just got it all as a package, so I didn't have to worry about it. It seems to work. I'm just probably not as smart as I should be on how to use this thing. So we'll add that back in later. I'm still trying to figure out how to unclip this distro block that I've got installed here. I think I might need to cut some zip ties. So this one, luckily I labeled everything. So this one is for the 48 volt. I don't know that I'm going to use that. I learned something about this board that I didn't know before. And that is that it only provides a certain amount of amperage. I think it's, let's see, 4 amps, 3 amps, something like that. And that's not enough for the 4 motors that I have. And had I known that beforehand, I might have not ran this on here. So we're gonna lose that, but I think it's fine. The inertia cube's not that big to where I'm going to maximize those motors anyway, and I think 24 volt is going to be sufficient for what we need to do. Definitely going to need to take this out of here. Move that out of the way. Cool. So that should help me get some room in here. These motor cables and whatnot. What is this? I think this is 24 volts for the WLED. No, that's 5 volt for the WLED. Probably should label that as 5 volt. Man, if I'm gonna take this other board out of here, I need to snip a couple more zip ties. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So realistically, if you're going to do the 48 volts, I would say you need one of these boards, one of these volt-up boards per pair of motors. Hey, Tactical Printing. Are your panels PETG? No, they are... You talk about this rear panel down here, the bottom panel? I believe they're ABS. I had Happy, who's in chat, cut these for me. I believe they're ABS. And then the side panels, I think, are polycarbonate. Is there a such thing as PETG panels? I'm not familiar with that. All right, so there's that. We can repurpose it, so I'll just keep the wiring all together with that. We'll add a quick 5 volts to the other one, and then that gives me real estate back to add our LED controller back up here. And I believe that wiring should work unless I was dumb and didn't make it long enough, which is totally possible. That may be the case, because this is going to go here. These are the wiring, and it's about I don't know, 20 millimeters short. So I could do a little bit of rerouting to get it there. Just kind of run it under the Leviathan after we get that in. But there's the 24 volts. There's that. I need to add a label. Come on, Clown Hammer. How's everything? Are you on your way to Vice or no? 5 volt LED. Using my old school label maker here. Make some labels on a heat shrink. I'm not sold on whether or not you're on the road to Vice. Yeah, Tracking Reverend, you're gonna have to tell everyone I said hello. I went last year, not able to go this year, unfortunately. And I'm a little sad about it because I was so close to going. I probably could force it, but then I just don't like to over leverage myself. Yeah, and then things changed and it turns out I probably could have gone, and so I'm in that weird space where it's like, dang, I should have just did it. It would have worked out. But alas, here I am. Logistically, it's challenging for me. But then I learned that there's actually a train that goes from LA all the way to, I think, Portland. Or it goes through Portland, but all the way to Seattle before it stops. And it's like a 37-hour train ride. But you can get there. And it's something like $200. And had I known that months ago, I might have chosen that route. I'm looking for some appropriate zip ties right now. You're on the way to the kitchen to make breakfast, as you should be, sir. I just smashed a bunch of breakfast before coming out here. And the wife's on the way to the gym right now. Girls are hanging out in the house, eating cereal and watching K-pop Demon Hunters for the 17th time. Trying to keep these wires together. Now that they're labeled appropriately. I'm off on Monday as well, and I'm thinking about maybe possibly doing another member stream on Monday if you guys want to see something like that. I don't have to, and honestly I think it might not be a bad idea to just take a knee and work on some shorts content or something like that. So I'm debating, but if there's a serious demand for it, I'll consider doing that. I couldn't go very long though. I just, you know, doing this takes some time. It takes some prep. And you can only talk to yourself so much before you start to go a little nuts. All right, so we'll figure out the rest of that wiring here in a second. All right, but that's good. We were able to retain that. This, I need to disconnect from the wiring I've got it attached to. There we go. So basically what I'm doing is just removing it from these stick-on zip tie locations. And then I'm hopefully going to be able to run that a little straighter, direct to where I need it to be, like that. And then that'll just go underneath the Leviathan without having to recrimp and cut longer wires and all that stuff, because that sucks. We'll do it like so. These 2 points will have to come this way, and then our tie down points can be reused. Just need a new zip tie on there and we'll be good to go. Who's taking bets on how far we get today? Stream's a little bit open-ended. Don't really have a plan other than to continue working until we get some progress. When it sounds easy, right? Like just put a new board in here. But if you're like me, you know how the streams go, and we don't get as far as we would like. Alright, so that's that. That should work just fine. So team, I'm looking for ideas on merch as well. I don't know if you noticed on the last stream, but YouTube will do merch and put swag out there. So I'm curious, like what makes sense for the channel. What is going on here? I'm trying to figure out like where this one goes. I mean, I know it's 24 volt, but I can't. There's like motor wires on top of it, so I don't know exactly where it's supposed to go. Probably put motor wiring at the bottom next time. I don't know why I put it on top like that. Man, where does this one go? This goes to... Oh, over here. Got it. Okay. I hope that fits. Yeah, so merch. I think right now there's hats on there and shirts, but they're fairly basic. And a sweatshirt and a coffee mug. They're fairly basic. I'm looking to do some different stuff. Just another way for folks to support and actually get some value in return. Yeah, so all of these fork terminals are going to have to be redone into normal ferrules. Because these are, what is this? This is, yeah, see, this is for the bed here. May have to redo that. This is for 24 volt power. Those should be fine. And then this other one is for, let's just take this out. I think this is just regular 24 volt power to the buck converter over here to take it down to 5 volts so that we can actually run the LEDs and the high power. I think that's what's going on here. But I definitely want to move some of this 24 volt power on top of these motor wires instead of underneath. So there's just so much going on. Okay. Down, under. Yeah, like that. We'll just kind of put those in there first for the motors. And then we can put our regular power wires and things on top. That's our 5 volt line for LEDs. These are motor wirings here. This is power for the buck converter. This is for the board. My negative wire is one of these. That's that one. This is the other one I'm trying to pull through. There we go. It's a mess, boys and girls, it's a mess. But lesson learned, put your motor wires in first and then do your power stuff on top. Because if you swap boards, it might change on you. What's this? No idea. Wind stop of some kind, probably. There's that. This is our 5 volt, okay. We can do this one through here. Board power there. I need, where's my 24 volt here? That's what I need. It's got to be this guy. Yep. Maybe we go this way instead. Like that. And I can tuck under there, kind of stay out of the way, cross over pretty cleanly. This can go to our main board, and actually I'm going to move these to the center too, just for ease. Then everything else can go to the other pins. Alright, so that's that. This is just a tie-down point that I've added, so if we don't need that going forward, I don't have to have that. I mean, right now, I don't have anything running parallel with it, so we could probably just go ahead and take it out. Let's see. There he goes. Just take that guy out of there. If we need it for another thing, I can do that, but it doesn't appear that we will need it with what's going on here. This is 24 volt power that I need to continue to have for that distro block. So we'll take that through, and this should go all the way over and come in here. And realistically, I should probably have a label on here that says it goes to our converter or something, but should be okay. Like that, and like that. So now that's 24 volts to our converter, which gives 5 volt to the Pi, and then also 5 volt to the ESP32. Suck that down inside. This, yeah, this doesn't go in there. This comes with me over here. All right, so we're gonna have to cut these off to make room for our ferrules. Get rid of that. Where'd I get the cable run manager? Are you talking this cable raceway plastic thing? You can find those, Clown Hammer, all over Amazon. There's a link in the description that takes you to the Amazon store, and I believe I've got a link to it in there. If not, you'll be on Amazon and you can just search cable raceway. I want to say this one is Let me give you the size here. This one is 20 millimeters wide by 25 tall, roughly. So something in that range will get you what you need. I'm looking for ferrules in my crimper. So I need that guy. And I need some ferrules, like this. I'll probably use these orange ones because they're small enough. The way that I like to do it is, let's see, 3D printed one, and it's brittle. What'd you print it from? ABS should not be brittle if you use ABS. I don't know that I've ever printed one. Rat Rig does theirs a little bit differently. They provided, what's it called? Injection molded clips, but the base of it is 3D printed, but it's not the same sort of thing. I know that there are mods on printables for the Rat Rig that gives you a pretty decent, robust cable raceway. I would check out theirs before you buy something. Let me get you a link really quick. So if I take you to here, then we look at this, and if I go to printables, let's see, Rat Rig, wired, something, here you go. There's an hinged guide version, and then you have this old version. I want to say, I forget which one it is, but any of these will be okay. So any of those will get you what you need. I think the one that I used was this one from Grimstad. But you print the base, and then you print the clips, and the clips are pretty strong based on the orientation. And so you don't have to worry about it breaking. And these are free, you can scale them to whatever you want. This does have the hole in there, so you could VHB tape it or bolt it down. But there are other versions like this one here from Danuvius that does not have holes. The one over here from Grimstad, the old version, this is the version I used on my Rat Rig, so it does not have the holes. You can get them in tall and short. I think I used the tall version, and it works pretty well. That'll save you some cash if you don't want to spend money. There's even other ones that go across a din rail like that. Get some wider ones. So this is what I would recommend if you want something printable that's going to last. No, you're welcome. You are welcome. So member chats are for, man, to get like off topic if that's what you guys want. This is all for you, man. But I think I get the Rat Rig working pretty good. My Y-axis input shaping is atrocious, but the X looks great. Let's see if I can share this with you all real quick. Let's go here, and I will try to pull up this photo for you. Let's do this one. Media, let's see. It's not going to show. What's going on with that? There it is. All right, so there's the X, and to me that looks pretty good. right? To me, that looks pretty good. But then if I go to the Y, I get this. Not very good. And so I'm working through that. That's what we're working through right now with the rat rig that we saw on the last member stream. Figured you might as well print them. Yeah, why not? I think it'll work out fine. I like that style. I might adopt that on more machines instead of doing cable raceways. I'll stick with what I've got here because it just makes sense to not be wasteful and whatnot. But it's easier to access as well than having this long channel, and then I've got to get this long piece in here. It doesn't slide out, so you kind of have to get it halfway off and finagle it out of there. Those rat rig printable versions with the individual clips would work great in a build like that. So I'm probably going to adopt that on future builds. And I mean, anything that you don't have to buy and you can just print instead when you already have ABS, it's gonna usually do better. Help you use up some filament. The other thing I'm using a lot of filament on right now is those rugged boxes from K2 Kevin. So I'm printing out their screw organizers to do sorting. So I'm going to put all of my hardware in there finally instead of having it lay around all over the place in the bins that it comes with. So this goes, and so that's the cool thing too. Like I just didn't even think about this. So I can actually remove the pie that's in here because this Leviathan has the pie already on the board itself. So I can remove the pie. I may still need to keep the, because that is running in EBB 36. So I may still need the U2C, but if I swap it out for a Nighthawk, I can keep the cabling in place and just use a daughter board for a Nighthawk in here without having to use the U2C. I mean, if I got to redo the firmware anyway, what's the real difference? And that'll eliminate this wiring. I can keep the cable for the can. And I earn a pie back. So we could take this off. I have to keep the converter for the 5-volt LED, unfortunately. So that'll be extra, but this pie I don't need. I've got it on one of those metal brackets, like you would use for a, what's it called? SSR. Oh, why are you not coming out? Hold on, things are too tight. Let's go. Let's move this out of the way. There it is. So now we get a pie back to use for other projects. Did actually order a Pi 5 the other day to come into play for the next build. Waiting for that to get here. I think tomorrow it might show up. But the Pi 5 was only like $3 more than the Pi 4. We work with them on full-size racks. They are a pain. Yeah. So it's a little bit more than I realized that I would have to do, but we're here for you. All right, so I can remove that, and we can do big screwdriver to remove the extra wiring here. So it looks like this guy can come out, and then the blue one as well can come out. So creating space, I love it. Eliminating extraneous hardware. And freaking tastic. Never been a fan of using a U2C. It's always been a pain in the rump. Okay, so that is good to go. I'm pretty sure we can use the same cable here, as long as the pinout is the same on the Nighthawk. But we'll see. We will see. Trying to put this cable in a spot where it's going to stay that. All right, this can go here-ish. These are all fans and motor cables. So now I've got a ton of room for the Leviathan. You can tell it's been sort of idle. There's like some dust and stuff in here. It's been a very dusty season. All right, so this goes, bottom clips in first, and then I'm trying not to press the panel. The design of this bottom panel is not the best right now, and there's not any support because this is still a beta build. And so unless I wanted to find another solution to do that, I could potentially just break the pieces that I printed, so I have to support it if I'm going to clip this on there. But all these damn wires are in the way. Right, all right, there we go. Let's do that. And then this can go like so. And we'll support the clip. I don't think I can get my hand all the way under. There we go. I think those are all three clipped on there now. They should be, at least. All right. Now to figure out where all of this extra crap goes. Now I'm gonna pull this through. We may have to swap that, and then I'm gonna cry. The rest of this wiring should be fine. Great. Okay. So we just did a couple of new crimps. This is for the bed. And again, I'm going to have to change that out. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that out. But in the meantime, we can start connecting some of these motor wires. Okay, so this is all Z motor wiring. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna pull this out and see what we can do about it. The rest of this is kind of in the way. Okay. Oh, this is a lot. Okay. All right. So you got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got high voltage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Luckily, I labeled these with numbers. The only one that doesn't have a number is the last Z motor, so Z3. But 0 can go here. These are all LDO motors, and this is an LDO board, so I expect that the pinouts will be fine. And then this is number 1. And this is 2. This is 3. Like that. Totally makes sense. And then for these ones, I hope they reach because I shortened them a little bit. So it starts just like a normal Voron, right? So your Y motor is your B motor, and that comes first. So that one goes there in high voltage stepper 0. Just have to turn it the right way. I know we're getting a little messy here, but we'll clean it up in a second. Come on, you. Go to your home. Is that one? Just checking on chat. Came in here and thought you were plugging in a video card. It looks like a damn video card. This thing is huge. This thing is huge. Alright, so that's that. What else? We've got X motor, so this will be your X 0? Yeah. Like standard X. We just did standard Y. And then we'll have, I think I did Y1 and then X1 is how I wired it from before. This one is, yep, Y1. And that'll go over here. And then lastly, we've got X1. And that goes, we can detangle things. It's the downside of just having so much crap in here. There we go. Try not to tangle things together that don't need to be tangled. Okay, and then this one will go like here. Like that. All right. These are fans, so I'm trying to just move them out of the way. And I tangled something anyway, so let me undo that. Okay, so that'll go over there. Just trying to keep end stops and thermistors and things out of the way and put those in last. So power wiring will be on the bottom, and then every thermistor and all the rest of this crap can be out of the way here. Alright, that can go like that. Down inside, this is power for the board. You can put that here. It's another motor wire. This is the one we just unplugged from stepper 3. Hey Patty, welcome in. Just trying to get the Leviathan going on the inertia cube. Eliminated a lot of hardware so far, so pulled out the standalone Pi, pulled out the U2C, pulled out the 48 volt converter, just to get this Leviathan in place. And now we're left with all this mess of wiring here. So what I'm going to do now is start to connect some of the other things that we can do. So for example, the board power can go in. I think these are all loose. Yeah, Stephen was calling this a video card, and it looks like one for sure. Like that. And then I just noticed too that the CAN connection can go here. And so realistically, I can just plug that in right there, and I don't even need that U2C board. So another reason the Leviathan is pretty awesome. They thought about almost everything, but it is a big card. All right, there's that. So the power to the board, heat bed goes in here somewhere. Because we're using mains, that'll be this guy, but we do need to change this out for things that make sense. So we'll just snip that one, get rid of those. I mean, it's bigger than a power supply. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's check this out. Let's see. This board with the expansion is roughly 250 millimeters from what I can tell. That's a rough wag, maybe 255. Power supply itself, 225. So yeah, it's got about 30 millimeters of length on it, and roughly the same width. Not a small guy. Yeah, not putting that in a printer for ants. Get rid of this and put both of these through here. I can. We sure cannot. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new label for this guy, and we could shorten this wire just a touch as well. Make a new label for this one. Previously, I just had 24 volt on it. I think I'm gonna label it SSR instead. Trim this up. Yeah, getting a little more involved than I thought it would be today. I thought I was just going to swap the board in here and call it good. Not that it's hard, it's just more than I thought. Naively, I was thinking, oh, I'll be done in like an hour. We'll just swap the board in, call it good, fire her up. Not the case. Not the case. You can see a V0, open the cover, and the whole back is Leviathan. The supply is underneath. V0 would work great for this because you only have the 2 steppers. It's when you add that expansion board on there, in the configuration that I'm having it here, that's when things get huge. Otherwise, yeah, it's a good board for single like regular Core XY. Where did they go? There we are. That would be kind of cool. You open up your V0, there's just a big ass Leviathan on there. I might do that on my personal V0. I need to rebuild that guy. It's a V0.1. It's a revision A. And then, as you know, like LDO came out with the 0.2, and there's been some other updates and mods and stuff that make it nicer. I need to get down and do that without screwing around. I've never really printed with that machine because it was not reliable out the box for me. And that could be the way I was building back then. I've learned a crap ton more now. Lord mercy, that's a big one. Yeah. Yeah. Happy you know I like them big. Alright, so SSR. Let's shrink that down. You have enough power supply for that beast? I think so. It's a 200, and it's not heating the bed, so it's just running 4 motors. This should be enough. I mean, right now, my biggest worry is that these wires are long enough or not. Trying to slide things around because the main board I used has things on the opposite end from where they used to be. These terminals here don't want to slide for me. Tell you what, let's do some manual persuasion. And of course, nothing's plugged in. I wouldn't be doing this if we had mains power going to this stuff. She's just up on the bench. The cool thing is Rat Rag is right behind her. Right back there on the back side of that panel. So I slide that a couple millimeters, that'll give me enough length to make these connections. Well, I have to tighten the correct terminal. I want the wires to stay in. That'd be nice. Tighten the right one. Yeah, I don't believe I'll use this heater port. It's the one in the center between the board power on one end bed power on the other. In the middle, there's a heater port there. If I end up going away from WLED and just using 24-volt lighting, then I can use that for the lighting. That's what I prefer to do. But again, that's in the instance that we don't get WLED working as it should be. Okay, so now I've just got some fans, and what is this? This is a bed thermistor, and we got some electronic cooling down here as well. So I'm going to start cleaning up some of this wiring so that I can, come on, slide, so I can get some visibility on what I'm doing without going nuts. All right, I think it makes sense that we start on this end. So let's do this first Z motor here, tuck that down inside. And let's see, let's bring this back to here. So I know this is difficult to see, but I promise it's just as difficult to work on it. All right, so that one, and then we'll do the same for number 2 here. The thing is, I need, like, I'm gonna have to use a tool to, like, sort of massage things into place, because the access is not great with this layout. Try not to, you know, bust any wires or anything, but we'll do it that way. All right, and then this can go down inside like so. All right, so let's put that in here. This is the worst part. When there's wires everywhere, you're just trying to make it look neat. I could totally cut these wires, but I really didn't want to, and I'm glad I didn't, because this chore would be a lot more painful. Then you have to get them through the side holes so that you can put that cover on your raceway. That one, let's do this. Let's do this one next. How do we get swapped? I don't like that. Let's do it this way. Okay. Now we'll get swapped again, so I'll just move that. Those are fine. Actually, no, they're not. You go over there. Okay. This one down. Like that. And we'll get this in here like so. So I'm curious, for those that voted to see the inertia cube today, why is that the case? Is this just a project that you guys are interested in, or I mean, has it really been that long to where you're like, oh no, we need an update? I went back through the timeline and I was looking at this, and I haven't touched this printer in any meaningful way since June 27th, I believe, was the last time that I really worked on this machine. So I'm happy to get back to it. I was just curious what the thought process was for doing it. Come on. These little fingers on the cable raceway suck. Alright. I want to just bend out of the way instead of, you know, flexing and returning back to where they are, or supposed to be. let's see. We just finished wiring in a 2.4. Now trying to decide how you want to do the CAN wires on the tool heads. If you have Nighthawks, I would do that. Or are you talking about whether or not you want to run CAN versus USB? I thought about building one, and I look at my shelves and figure the divorce would cost too much. Yeah. I mean, luckily my wife is very understanding on all this stuff. We don't really bother each other over hobbies. Like we know the limits, and we stick to that, and trust that one another are doing the right thing. So far so good. Okay, so that's most of the motor wires. Let's add the rest of this in here. It's already looking better. Some of this other wiring, trying to get that routed through. Okay, that's about good. Last one here for our X1 motor. And I know that can go at the end, where we still have some space for that. Trying to kind of fold over those motor wires while keeping other wires out of the way. And then get these through the fingers. Like so. Okay. So I think we're good right there. That looks about right to me. Now, def run and CAN, EBB 36, because they're cheap. Looking at mounts and strain relief. Oh, I gotcha. EBB 36. So, on the antithesis, I used a LDO Nighthawk mount because it has a flexible, what's it called? Cable retention point at the top. If you look at the Nighthawk one, I think that's the same bolt pattern as an EBB 36. That's what I chose to use on Nighthawk. If you're looking for something more rigid, there's a ton of different things out there. Even the Nighthawk one has a rigid version in addition to the one I just mentioned. So those are pretty decent. What else? You've got... I think Chirpy has a bunch of different mounts that you can use. I mean, there's a ton for all kinds of things. Came in late. Where did I get the fan for the expansion board? I got that from, I mean, any reseller. It's just a 50-15 fan. So wherever you can get it from. It's going to be 5 volt. I don't need that, but I also don't want to remove it. But then I'm also want to because it's just extra for no reason. All right, we'll take it out. Don't need it. Take it out. It's going to be hanging out in there for no reason, making it look crummy. Gonna use the Pug. Okay, yeah, Pug is cool. I've heard of that. Is that what you're talking about, Happy? Because I have some things that I like. They are the PG7 umbilical things. I use those with great success. The Pug is fine. I would prefer to print it from TPU if you have that ability, and I think you do. But I think I've seen other folks use, I don't know, PETG and stuff that's a little more flexible, and those seem to work fine. Also looking at the Physetic H36, but can't find a ton of info on whether it works well or not. Petty, I think it works well. Hey, Additive Adam, happy Friday. Petty, I've got one over here. Not used it yet. Looking for the right project. Let me see. Where did I put it? I don't know. I've got one somewhere. This guy? No. I've got one somewhere in this pile of things and stuff. It seems like it's fine. Somebody told me that they had used it. I forget who I was talking to. But they used an H36 and they thought it worked just fine. I know that they have a higher temperature version of it, so if you're going to run it enclosed and you're worried about overheating with a chamber heater or something like that, the H36 has a higher temp version, so that may be something if you are concerned about it. Other than that, it's going to be very similar to most of the other toolhead board type things. I would say get what you can afford that's readily available. The only time I would consider the H36 is if I was going to run higher chamber temps. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Yeah, you're trying to minimize toolhead height. So looking at a side mount PG7 style stuff, this Pug caught my attention. Correct. Yeah, that's the benefit of the Pug is there's a ton of remixes already available. And then on top of that, you can remix it yourself to whatever because the files are available for folks. I don't remember what the hell this is, and I failed to label it like a dummy. These I didn't label, but that's pretty clear that those go to the electronics cooling, and I can put that anywhere I would like. Z-probe fans, I think for electronics cooling. Oh, they're all 3 pins? Are you serious? I'm gonna have to repin that. Dang. Yeah, we're gonna make a repin on that guy. And then this one I actually did label. I got smart for once. And this is the thermistor for the heat bed. This should go... Looking at the board, because it's actually really well labeled. TH0, TH1. I think it's 1. I think it goes to TH1. I'm just going to put that in there. And we could change that in the config to be whatever we want it to be. But that'll go sort of here. And actually, if we want to keep it even cleaner, we can try to go underneath the board. And then back around the front. I can snake that through. There we go. Snake that through a little bit, and then it'll just kind of plug in right there. And that way we can, you know, continue to view the awesomeness of this gigantic performance board here. Yeah, Happy, you said you're putting it on your 2.4. Are you trying to do a tool changer? Is that why you're looking for toolhead solutions? I think we might have talked about that, but I talked to so many people, I forget who's doing what. I get you guys confused. Inverted Trident electronics bay, kind of. This is a not a Trident. This is an inertia cube additive atom, and so it has 4 lead screws. It's Trident-like, but it's got the 4 lead screws and native inverted electronics. This is a beta version, so my build is a lot different than I think what is out there available on the GitHub right now. So just letting you know. Oh, I remember. Okay, so this is trying to figure out what this extra cable is here, and it looks like a chamber thermistor that I forgot I was doing. Oh, Mad Max, that's right. You did say Mad Max. So I want to do a Mad Max. I've got a few parts coming to help me do that. Yeah, that's a chamber thermistor I've got on there. That's right. Should probably label that while I have a chance. So let's add another label here for chamber. And then I'll find, in the meantime, something to remove these pins, and I could depin this with. Get the pick out. Yeah, I think I built this with the intent to not change it, and then immediately changed it. So, oops. I added that in my. I don't know that I like this style of electronics bay on this one because there's no support for the middle of the panel. So as you can see, when I press on that, all the electronics kind of bow in the center because there's no center support. Realistically, the rigidity is coming from the DIN rails that I have going this way, and there's no additional support across the bottom. So again, a beta build. It's one of the things that I believe got fixed in the new release. But mine is original and doesn't have it. Add this label on. Who else has the day off? The guy's lurking. You got the day off? Nice. What's the super update we're doing? We are Adam, to answer your question. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with chat, but I can barely see it from the angle that I'm at. I had a Corvus G board in here, which is a custom main board to run 3D printers. It's high voltage capable, and there's some other fancy benefits to it. Ended up selling that to another person that really wanted one in exchange for this board. So this is a Leviathan 1.3. I added on the expansion board to it, and so together I'm able to get the same capability that I got on the Corvus G board, except now I'm able to house the Pi on the board itself. It's got built-in cans, so I don't need the U2C, and so there's some extra benefits to having this board. And then also with the expansion, I get a crap ton more ports going along, and so I get extra fan ports now. I've got extra in-stop ports and all kinds of things. So that's what I'm doing, is updating all of this. I hope that having this fan top hat on here is not too tall for the deck panel. I think it's going to clear, but it may touch this connector. National Day, so off today too. Great, Nathan. Added that, I'm going to Vice. Love it. Lurking while pretending to work. Off on most Fridays. Happy I'm jealous. I wish I was off on most Fridays. I told my boss I might just take every Friday off for the rest of the year just because. And he didn't say no. He didn't say no. If I end up moving next summer, I doubt I'm going to have the extra time to take additional leave or anything like that. So kind of my thought process is that I might as well burn the leave days while I can before I lose them at the end of next year. And this is a good season to do that. I'm just trying to move these over maybe a slight bit more. So right now, I don't like where they are. And I've got some slack on this. I don't have a lot of slack on the SSR. There we go. Give me a little bit more. Okay. I'm good there. Great. So now my chamber thermistor, I can just connect anywhere I want, realistically. We'll do the same thing. We'll go underneath the board here. So we can get over that DIN rail. No. And the cool thing about the Leviathan is there's mounting points for a full-size Pi, like what I'm running now. I prefer to do that for the USB ports that are on here. But if you didn't want to add extra cameras and things like that, you could run a Pi 02 on here and have a and they have mounting points for that, so you could really get some versatility out of this thing. I think it was a pretty good trade up. So there's a couple more thermistor ports here. I think I'm gonna go to thermistor 2 for the chamber thermistor. And that's pretty clear on what that is, like so. We took every Thursday this month to burn up PTO, use it or lose it. Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I got PTO. My PTO runs out on 30 September every year. If I don't use it, I lose it. And I'm only allowed to carry 60 days at a time. So anything over 60, I lose at the end of the year. Right now, because I took last week Friday off, and that's when we did our member stream. Last week Friday put me down to 59 days, but I earned 2.5 days a month, and so now I'm back up to 61.5 days. So I need to burn some days. I'm trying to stay ahead of it. I don't want to lose it, and I know when I move, if I move, that I'm not going to be able to take leave for a little bit. There's going to be a couple of months during the summer where I'm just on the clock, and I don't want to show up at my new job and immediately have to take, you know, a month off because I haven't been on leave. That would be a bad look. Actually, that's on backwards. Yeah, I'm jealous of Nathan over here with a whole week off for a national holiday. I wish we did that out here. That'd be great if we did something like that in the States. Have a whole week off. But we don't have a single national holiday. Wine stop. Okay, where does this go? This goes here. So the center port on this row of pins, and so I think we could do the same thing we did last time, just run this underneath under the board here and try to get a handle on that. So I see you guys chatting. I'll get to you here in a second. Trying to figure out a way to make this work. Oh, I think I mentioned this last time on our member stream. I want to do a full build only for you guys. And I placed the order for that kit last week. We're going to do a salad fork. A salad fork 180 build. It'll be a West 3D configured kit. We'll use ambrosia film and all that, so it'll be a full out like tribute to West 3D for being such good partners and helping out with the channel and things like that. I don't know if you guys realize, but they sponsored all the ambrosia filament for the V0 that we're doing for the raffle, and so kind of a shout out to them. We'll do a West 3D green ambrosia build. I cannot get that damn thing to go through there. I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's some pliers out or something. Let's see what you guys are talking about. We used to call it vacation time. My employer gives me unlimited PTO, but it's a scam. Unlimited PTO, that sounds like he'll fire you whenever you want. You get 1 day off? Hey, Birdman, any weather? Yeah, pop in, let me know you're here so I can shout you out. Thank you guys for supporting. This is your stream. So whatever y'all want to talk about, game on. It's in China that they have long vacation. Yeah, I understand, Nathan. Yeah, some of those national holidays, Japan does something similar. I used to live in Japan. They do something similar where they do like a whole week off. And I wish that we did something like that in the States. But we don't. Probably unhealthy to not have time off, but... Alright, I'm just going to probably try and remove the board so I can get that under there. It's just like not wanting to go at all. Let's try this side. I think it's just hitting into the DIN rail and stopping because I can't even feel it come through at all to grab it. I'm just trying to like push the wire through so I can feel the wire curl over and grab the wire, but that's not working. I don't know what to do. And I'm feeling like I'm getting kind of sick. Let's see. Petty says, Formbot just came out with a salad fork kit. Nice! I had not seen that yet. The West 3D one is definitely going to have better components. In what way, Petty? Yeah, are you talking like quality components? Yeah, I think the quality might be a little better, but I'm not sure. I don't know what exactly is included. We'll go through it when it arrives. No matter the day that it arrives, I'll make sure that we do members only, and we take a look at the unboxing. We may not start the build right away unless I get really motivated, but I will do an unboxing for you all, and we'll look at what that kit comes with, and we can compare and contrast. Ooh, I feel it. Come on. Go, go, go. Dude, I wish my fingers weren't so big and I could actually get my hand in there. I felt it and then it went away. Anybody got any tips for running this under there? Because I am failing right now. Thermistor worked well. In-stop, not so well. And I really don't know what it's hitting on to prevent it from coming through. I think it's the DIN rail, but I'm not sure. I just know it's not poking out the other side no matter what I do. And I can't see anything to be able to see it. I might just have to take the board out. Let's see, where's that other clip? There we go. That was the trick. Just take the damn board out. And before I lose it again, let's plug this dude in. There we go. And I don't know if the end stops are in the right place. Figure that out here in a second. Just trying to get things connected real quick. Let's support the bottom and add some pressure. Let's get those clips back on. I think we're good. Holy crap, that scared the piss out of me. We just had a sonic boom. It shook the whole garage. It scared the hell out of me. I just died inside, but I'm awake now. I'm awake now. Alright, I think that's most of the connections. I've got the fan, the electronics fan still to connect, but that needs to be a 3-pin connection. And the cool thing is I've got this splitter on here to connect 2 fans into 1 port. And what I can do is just open up the end of this. If I can remember how it works. Let's get the small flathead out and open up the end of this guy. Come on. And then the wire should come out of there. If I can pry this open somehow. There we go. Like that. And so if I need it to be longer, I can just make a new one. And I'm thinking it's fine. I can run that down under the board like so. And then this This is long enough to be able to reach what looks to be like fan 3 right there. I should be able to do that with this. I'd like to have a little bit longer though, so I'll find something else. We'll take a look at the manual and see what that is. Use a piece of filament and some tape. That's a great idea. Zip tie, another great idea. Probably their box turtle kit comes with moon motors. Yeah, I have another box turtle kit from Triangle Lab right down there. Actually, it's right here. So this is the box turtle kit that I've been hanging on to from Triangle Lab. Unused, unopened, unbuilt. Need to do it. Not sure what I want to put it on. If you guys have any ideas of what we can add that box turtle to, I would love to do it. I don't do a ton of multi-material. I'm really more interested in using it for like continuous printing, I guess, to where I can just connect a 2 or 3 half-empty spools and just get that automatic run out. That's what I'm more looking for. Trying to see if I could reuse any of the wiring that I already have, and I think I might be able to. I think I can use some of this stuff, but it's probably easier not to. All right, let's get some. Let's get the handy dandy 20 gauge out here, and I just need like maybe a 6-inch piece of this. Yeah, this is just a bag that I got of 20 gauge. It came in a large spool. It's just red and black like this. It is 66 feet of it. And I've used this to build, I don't know, maybe a half dozen printers already. And it has not been a problem yet. Let's see if this is listed here. Let's see. I mean, the writing on it is very small, so it looks like to this side, to the left here, your left, it looks like the pin name, another pin name, and then a positive to the right. So it's probably the middle pin and to the rightmost pin. So let's take a look at the manual. Look over here. Could you do 2 night owls with that box turtle kit? Happy, I think the night owl does not use the frame, so I could print the parts and use the motors and stuff like that to do a night owl. I want to do a night owl on my Micron, so potentially, right? Potentially we can use the parts and make a night owl for the salad fork. But I think I want to do Mad Max on the salad fork. That's what I was talking about. I want to do Mad Max on the salad fork. And if that's the case, then I would not need a night owl necessarily. Okay, this is what I need. So I'm trying to use fan 3 here. Sorry, I'm sniffling a little bit. I feel like I'm getting sick. The kids have been sick for the last couple days, and then my wife was sick, and I don't know. So yeah, so there's a T. That's really hard to read on the board, but you have a T on the far left. I think that's for your tachometer. So if you're running a tachometer enabled fan, you can run that three wire fan. So I'm probably going to use this middle pin, this PF9, and then the positive pin on the far right. I think that's my plan. Cool. Controller board, several jumpers. Yeah, I didn't put any of the jumpers in place. I think they're all set for 5 volts, so I don't screw it up. Here we go. This is a little better picture. Let's zoom in 1 level here. All right, voltage selection for the Z probe and the fans. It looks like towards the middle of the board is going to be 24 volt. Towards the outside of the board is 5 volt. Great. The fans I'm using are 24 volt. Let me just double check. Yes, they are. And so I can move those pins towards the outside of the board, towards the bottom here. And my power is to the right. So yeah, makes sense. We'll keep that handy just in case. Happy, have you built a night owl at all? Have you built one yet? I've seen a few people on some Discord channels that have built one, but I don't talk to them personally like that. And so it feels a little odd to just hit somebody up out of the blue and be like, what do you think about your night owl? Been stalking you on the internet. No, you still have the incomplete turtle? Same. The box turtle I tried to put on my Trident 350 is unfinished. It needs firmware setup and things like that, but I ran into issues with the base printer config stuff, and so I kind of paused on the box turtle until I could figure out the other stuff, and I got distracted and didn't do what I was supposed to do. But Night Owl is interesting. I like that you can just print it all. I do also have one of those Infiniflows. I think that's what it's called. Uh-oh. Sorry, the H2D is going nuts over here. What's happening? Pause? Resume? I didn't pause. Yeah, somehow the printer got paused. It was over there beeping at me. Okay, and so one more here. But I need to revisit that. I reached out to someone who's doing like a custom toolhead kind of thing that's a little bit different than the standard A4T or Dragon Burner and that kind of stuff. This will be a little bit different of a toolhead. And the tube that we pulled off of the rat rig, I'm planning to just put on that 350. It makes a lot more sense than the I think there's a Rapido on there, and that will work fine, but I think with a 350 it's kind of perfect for a tube. So that's my plan, is to put that extra hardware on that. Just lining up the pins here. So we said power goes to the far right, signal pin or ground will go in the center, and this little pigtail can be connected to the splitter that I added on from before. We'll just separate these a little bit. We don't need to strip or crimp anything. So just put these on here, make sure our wiring matches what is on the fans. And that matches over here, that matches over here. Great. And so slides into these two little holes here. Once you get them in, you just hold them in there and then clamp that down and you get a connection. I can't do it with my hand, but if I get my crimpers out, I can add some pressure onto that clamp until it clicks. Then we'll do the other side to make sure. And those should be connected. If we're running into issues where there's not a connection there, I'll double check that, and maybe we have to hardwire or whatever. But yeah, these little pigtail adapter things make connecting two fans together a breeze. So I'm going to add a zip tie back there and probably up here too to kind of straighten out this wiring and keep it together. You do that all the time. Had I bought a kit, it would be done. I self-sourced during beta. I did too. The box turtle I was telling you about that I haven't finished yet, I self-sourced that one. It changed several times, so I ended up with a bunch of ball bearings that I don't need for anything because they're only 5mm. And then I think later on we went to 5.5mm ball bearings. And so yeah, I hesitate to just toss them, but I also have not had a use case for them in the last 6 months. And I'm trying to use that as my yardstick for getting rid of things. Like if I haven't used it in 6 months, it probably needs to go somewhere else. Either toss it or give it away or sell it off or whatever. And that includes some of these printers as well. So again, we're marching towards 1,000 subs, and I still stand by what I said. If we get to 1,000, I'll give away a printer. I'm almost 600 right now, so we're getting close. Getting about 50 or so subs a month, which is steady, consistent growth. But we're still far off from 1,000. It'd be great if we got to 1,000 by the end of the year. How to use bread ties, pigtail, real men shrink wrap. You're not wrong. I've got shrink wrap, but I've also got these ties, and I was like, oh, that'll make things easy, so let me do that. So here we are. Alright, let's go send fan port 3. And then those will kind of sit in there. Tuck that away, it'll be fine. I'm going to leave the cover off of this raceway until I can verify that things are good to go. It's always bad juju to do that early. Yeah, just making sure everything's tucked in where it should be so that I can use these. Okay. All right. That should be the wiring, folks. That should be it. This is for the fan here, and I need to add this to something that I don't know. I think I'm gonna just connect it to one of these fan ports here on the board. Let's see, you got frames for 2 more builds and you're done. Okay, what are you planning to build with those frames? Just notice we're cutting off a portion. There we go. A lot better. So a pretty legit strategy. You need to declutter as well. Yeah, that's been the strategy for like 4 years. I kind of stick to it, I kind of don't. It's really tough, like when you spend 40 hours building a machine, to just throw it in the garbage. Even if you strip off all the electronics, right? So you keep the motors, you keep the main boards and power supplies and things like that, and maybe, you know, tear down the frame, but then you're left with a pile of extrusions that don't have a place to live. I almost forgot about this motor. This is the X. I was like, man, that looks really clean. What is this extra wire? And it's our X motor. That would have been self-critiquing. But yeah, the 6-month thing, I try to do it. We'll see. I'm running out of room, and when you work in it, for me at least, when I work in a cluttered space, it's not very inspiring to want to be out here all the time. Not that I need to be inspired to do this stuff, but when you can't find what you need, so like I owe Steven parts, but I can't even find those damn things right now because there are piles of things and stuff everywhere, and I'm damn sure that I put it in a box and put that box somewhere to the side, but I don't know what box that is. And so I owe Steven parts and I can't even find the damn things. Stubby Trident, same dimensions as this 2.4 in build right now. Might add Mad Max to that one after I see how it does. Nice. That would be a pretty nice build, dude. I'm excited for that. You have so much crap, you don't even know what you got. Same. Same to a certain extent. Same to a certain extent. All right, we need to terminate this guy. I believe this is going to be the same pinout. One thing I don't have in the manual is talking anything about the expansion board. So it's a 14-page manual, and there's no guidance on the expansion. So I don't know what is what. I assume that the fans are the same. They look like the same from what I can tell on the board. So let me do a couple more crimps here. I probably should have did this before I installed the thing, but here we are. I think I meant to, and then I just kind of forgot. So now we're going to do it in tight quarters. Close hand combat, if you will. Need another crimp. Stop it. Somehow I mixed in some 2.0s with some 2.5s. And they get mixed up. Yeah, my goal, Happy, is to not have so much crap. Want finished builds that I can actually print with. Even though I know I can't use more than like 4 machines at a time without popping a breaker, I still want them finished. So if I did want to use something and we can make some content or show it off or upgrade or whatever, that I could just plug that in and hit go. And I love it. Like, we have the entire day off, but I'm still getting messages from work right now. I'm still getting texts from work. It's fantastic. I'm waiting for the day where somebody from work like pops in the chat and it's like, hey, I tried to reach you on your cell. Can you do blah, blah, blah? I think that's coming soon. People are starting to find out that we stream on YouTube. I'm just waiting for them to pop in the chat someday. Start talking trash. Alright, so same as before, we did the power on the far right, ground pin in the center, because these are just generic 2-pin fans. And now we've got cooling for that, for the drivers here. And I think that looks pretty good, pretty clean. I need to do something about this. And then lastly, we've got our ribbon cable for the screen. Now I did not have the screen working prior to swapping out the board. And I'm not exactly sure why that's the case either, but I'm hoping that we can figure that out as well. Let's get the tweezers out here. See if we can get this ribbon cable in place. I feel like these are too long, like the tweezers are too long, and now I need some shorties. Or that I should have done this before installing the board onto the Leviathan. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, I think that's good. That should be fine. Let's give that a little bit of a tug test. It's even across, so I think that's going to be good. That's the only ugly portion of it. Otherwise, we can try to semi-route this in a nice direction, but I don't know that there's any place that's going to look good for that. You're trying to reach you by your extended warranty. Answer your phone. Absolutely not. I'm with you. I'm going to start recycling your printers, make a list of mods you want to do, and just rotate through them. I would love to get down to 6. I'm with you, Happy. I think 6 is kind of the sweet spot. That gives you 2 that are kind of your workhorses you can rely on, and then 4 where you can modify or update as things change. So you can run, you know, new hot ends or whatever you want to test. You just kind of have 4 to play with. I think that's a good strategy. Unfortunately, that would mean I need to give away or rehome or sell off probably 20 of these things. I need to, not gonna lie to you. I wish somebody was closer. We could figure out something. I just don't want to throw them away, and I don't want to give them to someone that's just gonna not use it or throw it in the trash because they can't figure it out. So I wanted to go to a home that where folks know how to use a 3D printer. Like you folks in chat. Like, I would love for some of these printers to go home with you guys. Sweet, so that looks good. I'm not seeing anything loose that we didn't connect. And then we can close that. Those seem to be good to go now. We have the WLED reconnected. SSR is good to go. Power to the board itself. Got my Y-in stop, my cooling fans, my thermistor for the bed. All the motor wires are connected to where they should be. We've got one extra port if we need it. Pi is connected with power. Cooling fan to the board directly is connected as well. All the wiring in the back is the same as it was. We just need to figure out something to do with the can. And for me, I've just got this kind of run down the back of the machine. It just kind of comes in through one of the, what is that thing? Keystone ports. Oops, dropped all the clips on the ground. Love it. And because the Leviathan has a can port, I don't need to change the wiring for the EBB36, except for that this is probably 20 millimeters too short. F my life. And I can't really move it too much more. I can't pull extra slack out of the tool head because it is already about as tight as we're gonna get. So let's show you what we're working with here. So if I pull this all the way to the front, and it's all the way to the right, so that's going to be the most tight portion. So we can move this up a little more. So show you the cable routing here. All right, so this is all the way at the front of the machine, right there, and all the way to the right as we're contacting the stepper motor. That's, I've got just, you know, a little bit of slack, not even a lot. And I don't want to pull any more out of that than I have to. But I also don't want to... Yeah, this, I'm going to have to. Dang it. I think I have an extra cord. So it's not like I need to toss this one or anything. But it is a little bit shorter than I need. Yes, here we go. Do I have one that's already terminated? No. So, if you don't know this, on, let's see, let's go back down. If you don't know this, you can go to Mello and get these XT30 cables with connections on it already, and this will fit most of the tool headboard style stuff. It'll also work on Nighthawk. You just need to connect your whatever block you're going to use. And this is a 3-meter cable. There it goes, 3-meter can cable. I have a couple of extra of these for this reason. So lesson learned. I can reuse that cable, but don't cut the cable so damn short. Lesson learned. Okay, and so what we need to do is I'm gonna zoom back out a little bit and remove all this. So this is what I was talking about, Happy. This is a PG7 I got in white, and I like those. I think I bought like a 10-pack or something like that, and that's been enough for all the machines that I've built lately with CAN bus. I bought them back when CAN bus was first a thing, so we didn't have PUG back then. It was only really PG7 and PG12. So I just got a 10-pack, and that 10-pack has been enough to do all the printers that I do. All right, 3 meters is going to be way long. So I think what I'll do is I'll coil up in the back of the machine and kind of tuck that away beneath the power supply there. It's just unfortunate I couldn't reuse the one that's already here. But what can you do? Ooh, okay. I'm seeing what's got to happen here. We got to take all this off. So cut a couple zip ties. And just to recap, like, we didn't talk about this before because I couldn't, but this also has a tube compact on it. So the tube compact is the same one that's running on the antithesis, and the antithesis has the fin nozzle. This one has the V6, and I believe it's a V6 CHT that I'm using. So now that compact is out, we can say that. I also want to put an arm on the back frame here to hold this cable. I'm just trying to find the right one because I believe I need to mount underneath, and that'll add some support there and kind of move it back and forth so it's not just like wobbling all over the place. That's going to really mess with the input shaping. Alright, pull those zip ties out of there, and then we got the one holding the cable to the PD7. Pull that out of there. And then our printed clips are fine. We'll just remove those. Take that off of here. Attach it to here. There we go. So now this cable is free. But what we've got to do is route things backwards through this. But I also have that. Molex connection on the back. So I think I need to pull that off first before I can even do it. But we've got the really cool Molex D-pin tool. This guy here, if you don't have one. So let's play with this. So one of these, if you don't have this, I should probably get one. Come in a 2-pack. This probably going to use the small one for most things, but sometimes you need the larger one. And my cable went over here. Where'd it go? That's the new one. Where's the old one? Oh, here we go. So the old one. Let's see if I can make this work so you guys can see it. Just in case you haven't. Alright, so what you do is you just take the tool and you put that inside the Molex connection. Oh, this is the wrong one. That's the big one. I need the small one. Okay, you take your tool, this Molex depinning tool, and you put that inside of your Molex connection. It just kind of slides in there, and then once it goes all the way in and stops, you just press the button and it pushes the pin out the back like that, and then rinse and repeat. Push the pin out the back. Sometimes it doesn't work, but there we go. Just like that. I used to cut these cables every time because I did not have this tool and then have to recrip and repin. And so if you make a mistake and put your connector in the wrong port and then have to recut and recrimp everything, it becomes a huge pain really quickly. Your cable gets shorter and shorter, and I just bent the crap out of that because I didn't have it pressed in all the way. Great. So let's straighten that out. Spent the pins. It's a very delicate tool. Now it looks like a crazy ant because I bent the pins on it. Don't do that. You're about 1 inch short, and by the time you get good crimps, You always cut you 1 inch extra. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Is we ended up 1 inch too short for some reason. I just got one more connection to do too. And I bent the crap out of it. And I'm gonna have to buy a new tool. Alright, worked. Worked just enough to recover that. Alright, and so now feed all this back through. I'm wondering if I need to... There we go. We'll keep all of our... So our high is going to be yellow, like high in the sky. Think about it and try to remember it by... Yellow is the sun, sun's high in the sky, so that's going to be my can high. And my can low is whatever the other color wire is. For these mellow cables, it's white. It's usually white. And then I believe they have the right pins, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so it has JST connections on the ends of the wires for the can. So we'll have to swap those out. And then your other two are just unterminated. So we can put Molex on those and press go. So let me find my Molex connections. I should have those on the desktop over there with the rest of the gear, but again, still printing all the K2 Kevin rugged bins, or yeah, rugged organizer. That's what it's called, rugged organizer. And so I don't have my stuff over there yet. And then I also need to look inside the right bin, not the wrong one. Alright, where are my connections? Here we go. So it's got like one of those plastic organizers full of JST pins and stuff. And the ones that I want are the email. Great. We just need 4 of these guys. And put those to the side for later. Okay. I'm going to use the same PA09 crimpers that I had before and just crimp every pin on here. But first, we need to cut these JSTs off. Let's bring the camera down a little bit. We'll just cut these JSTs off and they're going to go flying wherever they go. And then same on this guy. And we'll strip these off here. Cool. And then for these, I like to do the wire side first, the bare wire side first. And then I'll go back and crimp the insulation side of it. I don't really have a reason why. I think it just kind of stays together a little better when I do it that way. So that's my reasoning. And I get that just like so. Reverend, what are you building where you're crimping can terminals? What build are you working on right now? Uh-oh. Trash man's here. I don't know why they like to honk, but they do. Alright, that's too big. I think they've tinned the ends of these wires. That's no bueno. I'm gonna cut that off. And then we'll try to, yeah, we'll try to strip back some more there. I didn't realize that initially. Oh, you're building a trident with a box turtle? Very cool. What size? Is this going to be a big trident or a small trident? I'm really wanting a 250 trident. Just couldn't justify it. Like a 250 is still buku bucks. It's like 1,200 bucks. That's almost an H2D or an H2S, I suppose, which is great, but I don't know. I just want a smaller machine. I just wish the price was smaller than it is. I think it's only like $100 less than a 350. If you're trying this at 250, you're about 300 cube. Steven, do you like your 250 trident? Or do you wish it was bigger? Because I've heard some folks don't like it because they get the 250 and then realize that they don't have enough space. But I don't exactly need a 350, and I know that you have a larger machine anyway. So I'm just going to clean up stuff a little bit as we go because I'm getting really annoyed with how much crap is just laying around on the desk. So I just dropped the pen, the Molex pen on the ground. My old knees. Ugh, don't want to get down there. Ah. Okay. I was over deadlifting at the gym this morning. My legs are super sore. Actually, so these wires are a little thicker. They're making it difficult to try to crimp this. You wish it was bigger. You have 10 sticks of 2020 and thinking about reducing, I'm sorry, redoing the verticals. Oh, so you'll have it be a 250 XY but 350 on Z? That could be interesting. Wouldn't you need new lead screws for that? Oh, sorry, horizontals. Got you. Okay. Horizontals. So then you would have to, I guess, get a bigger bed and stuff to convert it, right? Or are you just going to stick with the 250 and do like a Tridex? So something I found too, and this might be a little hard to see, but when you crimp these, it sort of like pushes out the insulation. And for me, when I try to insert that into the Molex connection, it doesn't always like to do that because that insulation gets in the way and prevents that pin from trying to go in there. So I always have to go back and trim this off. I do it with these flush cutters and that works okay, but you could use a hobby knife or something too. You wanted it to be a little more flush. But if you're having a hard time getting it in there, it might be because the insulation is troubling. Okay, let's make sure that we have the right pin out for this. All right. Looking at the CAN connection here, it doesn't tell me what is what. It doesn't tell me there. Here we go. That's the picture right there. Yeah, the 2020s you have are 1,000, so you can just build it out of those, minimal cutting, and see what you get. You wish your Trident were taller? I rarely print anything that's over like 150 millimeters. And if I want to, that's why I have the Delta. Ooh, I almost made a mistake. So I almost put that connection on there, not remembering that I need to run things back through this this PG, the PG7. What did I do with the labels though? And this is what I mean when I say the desk is getting too messed up. I know I took the labels off the cable. Here we go. They're under these pins. Alright, and we said yellow is going to be can high, so I will put this can high label back onto there. And then we said the white line is going to be can low, so I will put that cable back onto there. That's what we had before. It worked, and so that's what we're going to have now. Alright, and then I'll take this, and it's got to go back through reverse-wise through this connection. All the way back through. Now this is where it's you got to think about what you're doing, because you have to essentially run everything backwards from where you would want to connect it. So that's a thing. We'll pull this all the way through. Pull that all the way through like so. And then this is going to be the same as it was before. There'll be no difference, except we have a longer cable now. This piece is the rubber, I don't know, squish pattern part that sticks into the other side. And so if that comes out like mine did, add this back on as well. And that's going to bite down softly onto the cable. So as you tighten that up, this rubber piece is going to cinch down on, and that prevents it from pulling through. If you don't have this on there, one thing you can do is just add a zip tie, like I will do anyway. Or you can just make one of these out of TPU and redo it. Let's change the camera a little bit. Back up here to the top. All right. Let's go back through the same routing that we had from before. Come on. Trying to get everything to the same hole is fun. All right, so that's that. And then we'll put that little rubber piece inside those plastic fingers. And that should stay there now. And I can run this back through the belt path, or not the belt path, but the way that I had it before. Just pulling that through. Take down all the slack. It's a long cable. Yeah, maybe order the 2-meter one, not the 3-meter one. Oh boy, that's funny. Okay, that goes on like that, and then we can move this back over here. All right, we'll pull the tool head all the way to the front, and then all the way to the right. That's about as far as it's going to go. And I'll adjust my routing to not put a lot of strain on there, or try to minimize it as much as I can. Let me grab a couple of zip ties here. Cut the ends off of this. Great. All right, we got my 2 zip ties. And realistically, these just hold the cable in place. They don't support the end of the cable here. So this end is not supported. It's just the connection itself. So I may need to print a new one where this blue piece is taller. Comes up here, that way I can secure the cable as well. Right now I'm just gonna chance it because I don't have a new one printed. And why are you not going through like you should? Wonder if these are too thick. I think they might be. I think these zip ties are too thick, so we'll get a smaller one. Alright, tiny zip ties. I think these are like a 1/2 millimeter thick. Yeah, those work better. So, yeah, maybe time for a new 2-board mount. And the wiring on the back could use a little bit of cleanup as well. Not as neat as I normally would do it, but it's okay. Alright, so hold that connection, and then we'll do one more here. Yeah, this actually might be a good candidate for that Nighthawk tool head board mount I was talking about earlier. It's got that flexi top piece on it. That might actually be a good call. Like so. Trim those zip ties. Great. Let's see. You have a Prusa XL and a 352.4. You're good for large prints. Yes, I agree. Prusa XL is quite pricey. What made you buy that? And does it work well for you? Because other folks are saying that it doesn't. And I'm curious about your individual experience. You like meat with your potatoes? More headroom, build volume is fine. Yeah. On this one, it seems like there's quite a bit of headroom. I feel comfortable with it. Like the top hat normally will rub on a lot of machines. There could probably use another, I don't know, 25 millimeters or something on this thing, but I think for now it's probably okay. Let's get this length correct here. So let's give you a little bit of slack. Brett's gonna get on me about these cable clips, but I'll deal with it. So I think that's about right for what we want. Something like that I think is okay. So going to the right's gonna be just fine, not a problem. Going to the left, just fine, not a problem. I think we're good there. We'll get a little bit of bend when we put that top panel on, but I mean, what can you do? So let's add on. Okay, let's put this rubber piece back in there. Kind of got pulled through accidentally. Put that in there, and then we can cinch this down. Just go finger tight, like as tight as you can get it with your fingers. And then if you go too tight or need to remove it, you can put a tool on there and pull it off, but I don't want to install it with a tool. And then, like I said, if you lose that rubber piece, you can put a zip tie on there to hold the cable anyway. I do that regardless, just to add some extra insurance to the thing. And I want to say the Pug works the same way. I think it's got zip tie holes through it so that you can secure your cable inside. So just make sure this goes inside one of the spirals and holds the cable in place like that. Let's move you back down because the next piece is in the electronics bay. Yeah, I can use ties or bolts. It splits, so you don't have to depin. It splits? Not sure what you mean, Happy. Alright, let's pull this mess of wiring back through. Again, I'm just going through that keystone hole in the back that's unused. I typically don't use those and block them off, but for this case, I need it to run this CAN wire down the back of the machine. And like so. And so now I've got like a meter of extra cable here. That's okay. Let's get the pins right here. So you can see that in the lower right hand corner. 2 halves. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so looking at my diagram and looking at my pin here, if I put this in the orientation I would use to connect to the board. Okay, just double checking that we're correct. Looks like bottom left is going to be my ground wire. So I'm inserting that. bottom right is the positive. So there's our 24 volts going like that. If these will go in. Well, one is twisted slightly, so it doesn't want to go. All right, so there's the power. Let's see if we can orient the ground right. There we go. So there's the ground. Let's give those a tug test, make sure we're good. Other cables, those go up top, right? So we've got our high and our low here. High is upper right. And I've dictated that to be yellow. And we're going to use a tweezer to put that in there. Like so, and we're good. And then cam low is going to be upper left. Put that one in there. Like so. Come on. Oh, it's upside down. Here we go. Flip you over. And puts you in like that. There we go. I think that's good. And just give those a little tug test to make sure you're good to go. And we are. Alright, I can finally shrink these labels on here. I'm going to move them up to where they need to be. Like that. And I'm going to shrink those down. I had not done that before because I didn't want to until I verified that things are working. And then I just never went back to do it. So, perfect. All right, if you really care about things and stuff, you could add some heat shrink on here and make it cleaner. I'm fine with the way that is right there. And what I'm going to do now is just try to get some of these twists out so that I can route it to where it needs to be, but then coil up everything, and I'm gonna tuck it down behind the power supply here. And that'll just lay in the bottom of the machine, allowing me to reuse this cable for something else if there's something else to use it for. So let's say I remove this board and replace it with a newer version or something. I can have, can reuse the cable as well. So we'll get it like that. I'm going to route it here, kind of this way, and then the rest of this mess will be back there. So I'll just zip tie that together, or bread tie if you're happy. She's bread ties for everything. That, trim off that end. All right, and there is room down here for me to tuck this out of the way. So we'll just do it like so. And now you'll never know that it's even there. So, great. And then when we do that cover back on here, this will lay on top of that cover just fine. Not be a big deal. I could probably get it through the fingers of the cable channel and it'll be even cleaner. But, I don't know. I mean, should we? Maybe. Think there's enough room in there? Let's try it. Yeah. Alright. There, now we've got a straight shot. We'll put that cover back on and it'll be just fine. Actually, I want to go under the SSR wiring there, so that wire is already pretty short. I don't want to put any extra strain. So we'll go under here. And back over to where we were. Like this. That, push those back. This connects here. And then, boys and girls, I believe we're ready to try out some firmware stuff. And as we're doing that, let me start to clean up the desk a little bit. Get rid of some zip tie stuff, put some tools away. Cool. Reverend says it was pricey, but it's worked nearly flawlessly. Once a month or so, a head won't part correctly, and the machine halts until you correct it. Then it just resumes. Nice, dude. Yeah, I heard some horror stories when that thing first came out. I was on board to get one initially, and then it delayed. And then when it came out, it was having issues that I heard about, and I got spooked and canceled my pre-order. Glad I did, though. There's been so many other things that came out that were more affordable, that made more sense. Specifically the H2D. But, I mean, a lot of things really make more sense. Okay, so good to go here. I'm not seeing anything left over that I forgot, just doing a sanity check. Looking good, I think. So I believe we could power her up. We gotta do some firmware stuff. And so coming over here. Firmware wise, I think that's in this document as well. Here we go. So board can be flashed via USB if I use that programmer. I think I have that. Can be flashed directly via the RPi as well. You want to use CAN bus, must be configured as a USB to CAN bus bridge. Easy. All right, HiveMind, this is probably where I might need your help. Firmware is always finicky. Let me continue to clean up here. Put some tools away. Some label makers away. Prints are getting finished. I'm hearing those start to wrap up too. So that's good. We're on a good path. Pick up all these the little pieces of things that fly everywhere when you start stripping and crimping wires. Don't need any contamination or shorts. Okay. And this can go in the garbage as well. Alright. So, good to go. Cleaned up for the most part. And this can go here. Alright. So, firmware. I guess let's get into it. Hint, a more detailed instruction can be found there. So let's go check that out. See what happens. Huh. Their guide doesn't work. Let's see if we can just go to the main site and find a guide on here. Controller, maybe? Let's take a look at this guy. And is there a link anywhere? No. Let's try a guide. This. I think we're already pinned like we should be. Let's see. Note the diag pins which can be used for sensorless homing. I'm not using sensorless. I'm using regular, so those are relevant. And just double checking the fan ports, it looks like fan ports are good to where they need to be. Yeah. Okay. Good there. No, I'm going to remove all the jumpers. Not going to do that. I think the fan ports are fine. Reinsert the voltage selection jumpers after the board is configured and installed. The voltage of the attached component should be verified and then connected. Well, I've already verified them that they're already 24 volts. We just have the electronics ones. The one at the board is also 24 volt. And that's the only two fans that we're using, so I'm fine. Raspberry Pi is already mounted, and that's awesome. Not the Pi using this. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. You could also use Pi 02W if you wanted. Some of the ports may not be usable due to interference with the Leviathan. Power supplied by the adapter. Yeah, so this is the adapter here. That's this little board that you add on. And mine is correct. So I think the thing to remember, like, There are two of these in the box. One is for a Pi 5. The other one is for a Pi 4. So make sure that you're using the correct one. I am. Really the difference is on the Pi 5, it's on this upper side. On the Pi 3, it's on the lower side. Like this. So it's on the lower side. So just pay attention to that. Cool. 3, 4. Be sure to use the correct Pi adapter. Yeah, we're already talking about that. And then this is your USB interface. So with the expansion board, they give you this little, I don't even know how to describe it other than to say it's a ribbon cable with 2 USB ports on either end. So one of the ends has the USB-A to plug into the Pi. The other one is a USB-C that plugs into the Leviathan. And it's a very tight fit. So I had to put that on before I installed the Pi and before I put that fan, that cooling fan on there, or else you won't be able to reach it. So already imaged with a Pi OS, I hope it is, or similar configured to Mainsail. Cool. Verify you can connect remotely. All right, let's try it. Get some MobaX term opened up. I think we need to set up that scene again. Oh, you can see it. There we go. Let's get in here. Where's that box? This one here. Let me move this out of the way to somewhere that you can see. So we'll put that. We'll put it down here. I think you guys can see that just fine. If you need it bigger, let me know. I have no idea what the freaking port name is for this thing. And it does not have a thing in it, but I'll take the SD card out of the other Pi we've removed. I'll add it to this one. It should already be flashed with klipper and the things that we need. We are just changing the Pi out. So let me grab a tweezer so I can put this in the Pi, and then we'll get started on plugging it in and see what happens. I forget the name of this board though. I don't know that I've used this Pi yet. I think this is a brand new Pi. Come on, baby. I probably should have put this in there before I mounted the board, but I forgot. Ah, geez, I dropped it. Come on, baby. Why are you messing with me today? Ah, jeez, come on. I'm so close. Come on. Got you. Okay. Whew, yeah, do me a favor, put this in before. Let's see. Bring me back over. So ribbon cable's in the way, that sucks. So we'll just add something heavy to it to keep it out of the way. And then it's underneath right here. So I'm trying to angle this in such a way that I can see the port, but also get it where it needs to be. And there we go. Got it. All right. Put that back. Oh, here are the kids. Hear them running around. Okay. I need power. And then that should allow us to power up things so that we can pull data from the Pi to be able to set that up. All right. I need a power cable. And luckily I've got several, so this will be fun. Power there and power here. Great. All right, just in case, let's take a look before we power on, and we'll say 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, got power, which is great. Pie's alive. Things appear okay. Seeing 5-volt and 3-volt LED lights there. 3-volt, 5-volt. Here we've got power to the ESP32 and the power supply. Great, I didn't see any smoke, I don't smell anything weird. So it should be good to pull the IP for this Pi. Let's see what I can find. Oh, it's gonna make me update. Dang it. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna update my IP scanner. And it doesn't want to update. So cool, I guess. We're not worried about it. Sorry, it's just not wanting to work here. There we go. And let's see. That's where I'm kind of at there. And got the IP. All right. 83. So 2.168.1.83. So we can kind of get in there. Turn this off for a second. Just waiting for that to connect all the way. This is the, again, the SD card from the other Pi. But at least we do have an IP. It's just not connecting. But that's okay, we can work with that. Let's do a, let's turn this back on. Once we get connected, we can move this out of the way. Close, get out of here. This one, all right, and so we'll do here, here. 83. Then we'll have, see if we can get into it. Hey, look at that. Great. And they wanted us to do something over here. What is this? Okay, so bug fix for Raspberry Pi OS Bullseye. I think we should probably do that. So they want us to do some of this stuff. So I'm already into the Pi. They want us to do this one next. So bring that up and try that. If the version is 247.3-7, and I'm showing 252, so I think we're good. I don't need to do any of that. Alright, so I'll tell you what, let's move this kind of out of the way. And then it wants us to do... No man just dropped off 2 rolls of Soriatech PETCF. Anyone ever use it? I have not, actually, Happy. I've got some Bamboo Lab version of that. Love the ABS GF they sell. These are olive drab and earth tone. Okay. Yeah, I have not. I've got some PETCF from Bamboo Lab, but not the Soraya type version. I hear it's good, but again, I don't know. Add CAN host adapter, copy, and what? Configuration for CAN only. What? Anyway, I guess we should probably do it. Let's do this. Great. And then restart the Pi. This one here. Great. Fail to restart networking service. Networking service not found. Okay. All right, so the next step is talking about DFU or device firmware upgrade mode allows bootloader firmware to be flashed onto Leviathan. Should be connected and powered on. The cable is required for both USB and UART. Yeah, like I said, I've got that little ribbon cable, flat cable thing that does this. And this is our boot and reset button here. Those seem to be pretty accessible, but I do have tweezers to get in there if I need to. Should be connected, sorry, should be wired as shown and powered on. And then highly recommend to only have the Leviathan connected to the RPi. All other USB device should be disconnected. Correct. We don't have anything else connected. So they wanted us to reboot the Pi, so I think I'll just do that manually, and we'll do a sudo reboot. And give that a few seconds before restarting. So Happy, what are you planning to print with that PET? Let's see which one I have. I'm pretty sure it's Bamboo Lab. Yeah, it must be over there. I've got some of their high flow stuff. There's some regular PETG. I know I have a PET somewhere. That's probably on one of these shelving units that I can't find. All right, let's restart. All right, gents, I'm seeing 7 people here. Hopefully we've got 7 likes. This will go live for mass consumption roughly 30 days after we do the member stream. So somebody was asking about that offline, like, will I release this for the public later? And I said, yeah, I think 30 days makes sense. We've already done it and seen it, and you guys get first dibs. So you don't know, you saw it at Earth, they didn't have filament at the show, so you ordered it when you got home. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a fan of PETG in general. It's hard to print well for me. I had it running on the FL Sun to test out some Greengate stuff, and it worked okay, but I think that's more the printer, not the filament, because when I tried to print other things with that same filament, it came out much better. But if you don't dry it, it can get stringy. It gums up nozzles pretty well, and I don't like it. So I try not to use PETG too much. Dude, I don't know why all my chat boxes are in the wrong spot. You hope it doesn't print like PETG. No, it's going to print worse. Because there's no glycol in there to make it easy to print. I wonder if I need Kiao or whatever on here. Dot Kiao dot, oh sorry, slash Kiao dot sh. This will make setting up a little bit easier. You'll want to update, of course. I will run that command one more time. Great. All right, so from what I can tell, we're already running Calico on it, and Fluid, so that's good. Let's see if there are any updates to this stuff before we start flashing boards. There's gotta be. I haven't touched this machine in 4 months, nearly 4 months. But Happy, I think what's going to be your saving grace is that carbon fiber inside there is going to make it much nicer, more smoother, I guess, and less like sticky or whatever. Uh-oh, what's happening here? Change this version. Sweet to stable. Okay, so we need to do basically a crap ton of different things. So I'll do A, and we'll update everything. Update Clipper, sure. And we'll just shoot the breeze while we wait on this thing to happen. Oh, what did I do? Close. Yeah, let me think about what else we still need to do here that we haven't gotten to. I really want to get the firmware going before I start to change out parts and stuff. Not that we need it to print, because I do need to remove the belts to be able to change the tensioners, which is a pain in the butt. Change the belts to change the tensioners. I can add on the CNC double shear, no problem. We don't need to change anything for that, but the other stuff I do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. They're in the dryer now. You mess with it tomorrow, right? Let me know. Yeah, please do. I'm interested. If it prints well and you didn't have a lot of troubles with it, maybe I'll pick some up and it'll change my mind on PETG. I've heard that the glass fiber stuff and the carbon fiber stuff smooths out and it doesn't get as gummy. And if that's true, I could do a project or two with that. The kids like shiny filament, and that's I guess the benefit for me for PETG is that it's shiny, like glossy. I mean, dude, I swear I just hit update all, and I guess got a bunch of errors. I don't know. I guess we'll do one at a time. Let's do number 1 first. Yes. It's not seriously out of date, only a few instances. Very much anti-gloss. Okay. I mean, it depends on what I'm making, right? Like if I'm making fun little toys and stuff for kids, they like gloss. They like it to be shiny and bright colored and that kind of thing. But a semi-gloss is where I prefer for machine builds, or a matte. Matte is really good for a lot of things too. But it sounds like you like matte everything. So do you always go with glass fiber or carbon fiber filled stuff to get that matte finish? Uh-oh. Yeah, so we're getting errors on the... You have divergent branches and need to specify. So you can do... Get the fuck out of here, fly. No, you seek out the matte versions though. That makes sense. You can replace get config with get config global. I don't understand what any of this crap means. Get config pull rebase true. Do I need to run that? All right, let's see what settings are in here. Switched. What? I don't know. Are we doing number 1, I guess? And I want to switch to number 3. Maybe that'll rebase everything. I'm trying to think of what like matte filament I have available right now. Everything I have is glass fiber, right? That's the most matte. So I've got this extra. Let's do it this way while that's going for a while. I've got this left over from the Prusa wire build. This is some glass fiber ABS from DFH. I think it's their decent filament line. And it prints well. I like it a lot. It comes out really matte. It may have like a very slight semi-gloss, but it's brittle. And that's the downside. This one it'll bend pretty far before it breaks, but it does break off if you put too much strain on it. Not as bad as like a PPS carbon fiber, but this is pretty good. I guess you could say it's decent. So I got some of that over there. I think there's like 12 kilos over there. We need to pick out colors while we have 9 folks hanging out. Is that dude still open? I don't know. I ordered this stuff 2 years ago, so I don't know how to answer you. You could try. I know the website is still open, and it looks like you can still check out, but I don't know. We need to pick out colors for this salad fork, and because this channel is for you all, and it's a build for you all, you have a big say in what we do. So I think what we do is start a poll. And we'll say, what colors for salad fork? And then I want to use what I have. I don't want to, I'm not against it, but I want to use the filament that I have on the shelf because it's not getting any younger. And if you don't know this already, filament does sort of expire and become brittle and unusable. So he said mil spec. So initially I wanted to do West 3D Green, right? As an homage to them. But then also we could do, let's see what colors I have. I know that I need probably 2 kilos of primary and 1 of secondary. Hot pink base. So for like the primary color, are you saying hot pink? I don't know that I have. So I've got pop pink from Polymaker. So we can do pop pink. That can be an option. But then if we do pop pink for the base, what would be my accent color? And typically I like to have 2 accent colors. So I'm open to that. Pop pink would be cool. I've also got pop blue, neon green, neon yellow. I've got some galaxy greens, galaxy black. There's some blue, purple, white. There's some silver. I got some LDO dark teal, and then we've got some of these. I'll be right back. Watch this. So I've also got some stuff from Fusion. I've got stuff from Fusion that we could use. Neon yellow, green for sure. Pop pink and neon yellow. I don't know if I like that. So I got some stuff from Fusion. I've got this really cool like gradient green color from Atomic. Yeah. And then of course anything behind me here from Ambrosia would work. So there are we got Stardust, Galactic Black, there's some Galactic Gray, Boron Red, some white. I've got this Holiday Green, which is like a Grinch green. There's supposed to be red glitter in there, or red mica. Hard to tell on camera, but it's like a Grinch green color. Not my favorite. To me, it looks like algae. Pop pink, purple, and silver. Steve P. I kind of like that. Green for sure. All right, let's do it this way. So let's do green something, and let's do purple. Oh, it's only letting me do 4 options for you, so we'll add silver instead. And then we'll just say, instead of West green, we'll just call it green in general, and we'll let you guys vote on that. But I'm liking the pop pink, purple, and silver. I'm only slightly hesitant because the inertia cube is bright blue, so it's like a I don't even know how to describe it. It's Sparta 3D stuff, so it's sparkle blue something, and then it's got flecks of orange pieces, and then there's like a galaxy grape sort of color, and so it's already kind of bright and loud. But I do not have a pink printer yet, and pink and purple and silver can get a little crazy. So that's kind of like, I think, what's in my brain. Let me show you guys this. Let's see what I can find here. I think that kind of sounds like, to me, it sounds like He-Man. If I think about like purple and pink and silver, I don't know why, it just reminds me of He-Man, like Prince Adam here. That's what that looks like to me. Maybe I'm thinking of the new He-Man. Neon yellow is kind of cool, Betty. I'm not against that either. Only real men can print pink. Dude, I print a lot of pink. A lot of pink. I've got girls. I'm a girl dad. So it's always pink everything, and if it's not pink everything, it's purple everything. My older daughter, my 15-year-old, is starting to get into like a lot of anime and stuff, and they like, for whatever reason, dark black, dark blue. Yeah, I have the power! But yeah, I like making my printers kind of related to superheroes in any way. So if there's like a particular superhero color that we could look at, like their theme, like Skeletor is my favorite superhero, if you want to call him that. Bad guy, I guess. But I like a Skeletor kind of color. I think the purple I have is very similar to that. You wish your daughter was into pink, it's black everything? Yeah, same, Tin Talon. Mine's all black everything. There's an Ambrosia Hot Pink ASA that looks great. I agree with you, Reverend. I don't have any of that on hand, unfortunately. And again, I'm trying to avoid ordering stuff. So the closest I have is Pop Pink. I do have a softer, like Easter pink in ABS glass fiber, but I think it's too light. It's very Eastery, like pastel. You printed your V0 Darkwing Duck. That's a good idea. Let's check that out. So I do like Skeletor, so I'm keeping that on the list. I think that's pretty close to Darkwing Duck colors as well. That's a great idea. So something like this guy. So I've got the purple. I think this might be a better image. Yeah. So I've got the dark purple, and this is kind of like a rose purpley kind of color. I don't know that I've got any of that or anything close to that. Yeah, I don't know that I have anything close to that, but I do have some gold that is very dark, bronzy gold like that, and so we could do a couple of pops of color of that in there. I could get pretty close. You have Ambrosia Yellow Jacket coming. It's yellow black dual color. I've heard of that, but it's PLA. Reverend, you like Darkwing Duck? Is that the vote? Is that what we're doing? Because I'm seeing a lot of people like pop pink and green right now, and nobody wants purple. So it looks like all of you want pop pink and green. But we're talking about Darkwing Duck right now. Should we redo the poll? Let's redo it with characters instead, I guess. Let's say Darkwing Duck. We could say Prince Adam, if I could type today. Prince Adam slash He-Man. What other? Skeletor, I think we talked about him. That's my favorite, personally. And then we get one more option. Let's say, what's one more character, kind of superhero type from the 90s that we could use their theme? Spider-Man? I'm not against Spider-Man. Alright, you guys tell me what you want. I could do Spider-Man because I do have red, and I do have white, and I do have blue, so a Spider-Man would not be too difficult. There is a West 3D color, you think, called Cardivan? Sorry, I just realized that this is right in the center of your picture here. Let's check out what Ambrosia Cardivan. Yeah, we need to find something in ASA or ABS. So yeah, this might do it for the Darkwing Duck. Cardivan, let's see if it's in stock. Nope. That one? So Cardivan, and then we said we needed like a purple. I think the grape is too light. And I'm not sure how dark the Polymaker I have really is. OG Hulk is purple and green. So Birdman Anyweather, my V2 is already that theme. So it's a green frame V2. If you go back way in my YouTube history, you'll probably be able to see a YouTube short about it. But the frame is green. The primary color is purple, and it's about half and half primary to accent, and the accent is silver. So that is my Hulk themed one, which we need to rebuild on the channel at some point very soon. But the Cardivan I've got, let me check and see if we got purple that matches. I've got some Taro purple decent filament. It's just a little bit light. It's not as dark as the other stuff. And then this one here, this Polymaker is about the same color, so I don't know if that really goes with what we want. We need something a little bit darker, so I'm thinking maybe an ABS carbon fiber filled. Let's check out over here. I know they have a carbon one. Maybe it's ASA. Glass filled, galactic, CF. I think they have a CF purple. It's still not as dark as I would like. I mean, it's darker, but let's see. You think order Cardivan and PLA for a blaster? Yeah, do it up. I need to build a blaster. I just want to, I think. Yeah, so those are our options. I really like the Darkwing Duck. Let me research that one a little more. See if I can find a darker purple that makes sense. Because right now, the stuff that I have on hand is a little bit too light. And if I have to order Cardivan anyway, it would make sense to also order darker purple. I mean, I wonder if we could just get away with like a blue, like a dark blue. What do you guys think? I mean, his jacket is dark purple. His jacket is dark purple, but that overcape is like black with whatever. He does have that blue shirt on. And then maybe we can get Happy to cut out this character and add that to the back panel. Or maybe the deck panel on a salad fork. I do like the ooh, look at even the Negaduck, the yellow guy. That's a good one too. I forgot about him. With the the gold jacket and the black with the red hat. So that could be like a Cardivan hat, and we could do black and gold with some Cardivan pops. and use the bad guy. Make sure you also plan on doing the inverted electronics mod for the salad fork. I do. So Petty, my plan right now, we might as well talk about it. My plan right now is to do salad fork, yes, but I am collecting the number of mods that I want to consider, and then I thought it'd be cool if we do members only votes, like posts on the YouTube channel where you guys select between a couple of different mods that I'm thinking of. So I'm thinking I'll let you all choose what hot end we use based on what I have in stock. I'll let you all choose what main board we use based on what I have. If you want a inverted electronics mod, that can be on there, or we do stock electronics. So I want to give you guys the option. It truly is a build for you, and so I want you to have a lot of involvement in what we do over here. So appreciate that reminder. That is my plan for that. And I guess, let's see, just go over here and check it out. So these are also in the docket. So you're hearing it here first as a member. I am getting sent a Delta Flyer kit. So Jason's going to send one of those over. And I need to print everything for that. We need a theme for that. We need to build that. And we'll do that on stream as well. He's also going to send over one of these power supplies. One of the new ones that have not only the 300 watt 24 volt, but also it has a 5 volt feed. So that's going to come over. We're going to put that into the antithesis and see if we can just shrink down the number of components we need for that build. I've already got the Micron, so I turned that one down. It is an LDO frame and a lot of stuff. And so when I rebuild that, if there are other things that I need, I can just figure that out. But right now it's working fine. It's just the version 1. But the flyer's coming. We'll do that on stream. That'll be a public stream. And not doing a tool changer, or sorry, not doing a stealth changer. What I was looking for is the salad fork. For those that may or may not know, I'm sure you do. But this is what I got. It is a black frame. I know that Dilpitif could have gotten me whatever color I wanted, but I didn't want to wait for that. I already have to wait for them to ship this with a normal black frame because they need to pack the pack the box for my account and then ship everything over, and that takes about a week. I didn't want to wait that week plus another 2 weeks to get a custom frame, so it will be a black frame. And then I didn't order any hot end. I didn't order any controller because I have all of that stuff. I just got a very bare bones kit. And that also gives us the opportunity to be able to select the components that go into it. And so that's the mindset I went into when I got the order. An awesome auction build. I am not against it. If you feel like we could do well, we could do an auction. We do an LDO Delta, kind of put off on the other. Yeah, so I've got a Doron Delta back there that I need to finish the firmware on. I haven't even printed with it yet, but it's built, it's assembled. I think I need to flash things, get them talking, and then move on. That's kind of the direction that I want to go with the channel going forward, is doing some sort of different stuff, letting you guys have some votes in what we do and what we build. I mean, that's the least I can do for your membership. So yeah, if you're interested, this is where you can go to check out the components that it does come with. I get no kickback on this whatsoever. I'm sharing just because I think it's cool. But if you want to check out all of the BOM and what comes in the box, there it is. And of course, as you add on different drop-down things, it's going to change your price. So the cool thing about ordering this from West 3D is you get the engraved serial number badge. I don't exactly know how that works. I think you have to build it to get the serial, but then communicate that to West 3D sometime after the fact and they just mail this over. I don't know. We'll deal with that later. But I do like the auction idea, Steven. Build it, auction to recoup some costs, members determine components. Sounds like a solid theme. Yes, I'm not against it. Not against it at all. Realistically, if I was going to auction it, I would need to get, you know, a minimum reserve to make it worth it. But then how do you ship something like that, right? That's an additional cost on top of whatever. But we'll see. Maybe on the auction, definitely on members choosing components. Hey, look at that. We now have connection with the Pi. Awesome. Great. So we were talking about the SSH stuff. Let's turn this back on. It looks like we've got a good Klipper install now. I don't know what those errors were about earlier, but looks like we figured that out. Let's update these individually going forward. So we get a new Moonraker now. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to hang out too much longer. We're getting a little past the 3-hour mark now, running up on lunchtime. And so we'll try to get this firmware flash and see if we can get things talking, and then we'll call the stream here pretty quick. But I appreciate you guys showing up today and participating. Thanks for helping figure out what theme we're going to go with on the salad fork. I've got no shipping information for that, so as soon as I know when it gets here, I'll let you guys know, and then we'll plan out when that next member stream is going to be. I don't know that I'll be able to do another member stream between today and when we begin Salad Fork. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I will do better about getting those out early so that you guys can ping yourselves on it. Let's go back and come back in, because one thing I noticed about Kiao is that they don't... Yeah, so here, right, like, I'm good on all the current lists except for Klipper screen. So, but it doesn't update that real time. So you have to go out and come back in to make things green, so you know, keep track of what you have updated and what you need to update. But yeah, Steven, talking about your raffle idea, I'm sorry, auction idea. The raffle is in the same boat, right? We got to figure out logistically how to ship a fully assembled printer to, you know, I'm in California. How do I ship it to probably Maine would be the most cost? And how do I get it across the country that far from coast to coast without serious damage? I'm going to do my best to pack it as well as I can, and probably just put a note in there and say, hey, if anything breaks, reach out to me. This is my contact info. I will print you and send you new parts, something like that. But I'm probably going to have to slightly disassemble things like the screen on the Prusa wire because it sticks out so far. If that thing gets dropped, I'm afraid that it'll just kind of leverage itself and snap that off. So things like that I'm a little bit worried about. And so auctioning a printer and then shipping it without damage is a little concerning. Maybe meet you at a gathering or something. Yeah. The next gathering I even plan to go to is Rocky Mountain 26. Planning for that right now. Pinching pennies to save for that trip right now. The one that I did this year costs roughly $1,000. That's flights, hotel. Sorry, I didn't stay in a hotel. I crashed with West 3D. So that was flights to and fro, rental car, and food and whatever for the weekend. So about $1,000 just for that trip, and I had to take time off. So it's going to take about 6 months to get enough saved up to put to the side to go do that trip again. But that'll be the next one I do. Dragging Dad with you? You accept any unclaimed? I hear you. So that'll be the next gathering I do. I would love for there to be more, I don't know, Rep Fest here in SoCal. We just had Orange County Maker Fair, but that's not exactly the same as like a Rocky Mountain or a Earth or something like that. Yeah, please do. I don't have your face to put with your name, so if you see me first, come say hi and introduce yourself. I love meeting people that I've met on the internet. Not the weirdos, but most of you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this poll. It looks like we've got a quorum saying Darkwing Duck is what we want to go with. Ooh, look at that. Prince Adam He-Man coming right up with 29%. Happy you're always at Rocky Mountain. Yeah, the last 2 years I've seen you. Hopefully this time I'll get more time to hang out and talk with you like we did at year 1. Yeah, I was just helping West 3D, so I couldn't really get out of the booth as much as I would like. I'll probably still, on this next year, still volunteer to help out with them, but kind of limit the amount of time as much as I can to be over there. I still did get to walk around and do that kind of stuff, but I would have liked to have done that on day 1 instead of day 2. Yeah, you were helping out Lee Marie a lot, though, so I know they really appreciated that. So happy as we plan out this salad fork, though. It looks like Darkwing Duck might be the theme, so I'll get with you on some artwork for some panels for that guy. I think it comes with panels. I'm pretty sure the kit comes with panels, but like if we can just make a vinyl wrap sticker kind of thing, I can slap that on there, and that's going to satisfy what I'm looking to do. And of course, if you have ideas for interesting panels that we can put on it, I'm down. I'd really like to see like a, I don't know if there's like a mystic purple kind of back panel that's transparent or something like that. But my mind is going crazy with doing some LEDs and I don't know, having like purple side panels or something crazy. Yeah, it looks like folks are like still popping in. We've got 11 on the stream right now. For those that are still joining, what we're trying to do right now is get the firmware updated for Inertia Cube. We spent the last couple of hours swapping in the Leviathan board, and for the sake of sanity, I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the board that we went to. We removed the Corvus G, sold that off, traded it up for this. So the Corvus was about yay big, but we needed an external Raspberry Pi and then also a U2C CAN bus adapter to utilize that board. The Leviathan has all that in one. Still gets the same capability. So I still have CAN bus. I still have capability for 48 volt, although I am removing that. It's just, instead of spreading the components out, we have them all in one. So roughly the same size as all the components that we've removed. So here is the 48 volt adapter that I removed. This is the Pi that I removed, and then we removed, lastly, the CAN bus connection that was required. So those three components make up the width of this, and now this is just one solid piece. And so we're just doing firmware now, trying to shoot the breeze while we wait for the Pi to do all its things in updating. We've also selected a theme for our members only build. For those that are here, we've got a salad fork that we want to do, and the people have spoken. They want a Darkwing Duck themed salad fork. So that's what we're going to do. Light's going to dim when you cut that thing on. It's already on. It's already on. But my light's dim anyway, because not even gonna lie to you, I've got 6 things plugged into one outlet over here. So I have one of those connections that put 6 outlets around the outside instead of just 2. And I've got basically the stream setup I'm streaming on, one connection. The Inertia Cube is plugged into that. The Rat Rig is plugged into that. And then the other one is, studio lighting. So the lighting that I'm getting from this side, the studio light is plugged in there. Luckily, nothing is heating up or anything like that. We're just running, 2 24 volt main boards basically and a couple Pis. But if I tried to heat up everything right now at the same time, it'd likely pop that breaker. That 20 amp is screaming for mercy. No, I mean, it's got some things plugged into it, but it's not pulling a lot of amperage. My mini PC is just a few amps, and then just a couple of main boards and pies. It's not very much. But like I said, if we heat up everything, it's likely gonna pop. I can only do 2 at a time on this circuit here. The other circuit over there, I can probably get away with 3 if I stagger them heating up. Let's check out where we are here. So this is the one that drives me nuts. Have you guys seen this before? So on the SSH, it asks for what I want to do about this configuration file. And then it says that the default is to keep the currently installed version. I selected no, and then it just chills for however long. I've seen this on a different build before as well. I think the antithesis was doing the same thing when I tried to flash that. And from what I remember, it never went past that particular step. So I don't know what is going on with it. Anybody have any tips for that? Should I select the other version anyway, like the install the package maintainers version instead of no? Dreading what happens when you finally power on the Venture? Well, hopefully that's the only thing you have on that circuit. That's a big boy. That is a big boy. Okay. Is there a like a command I can do to escape what's going on right now, or cancel what's going on right now that anybody knows if you're good with Linux? Because otherwise I'm just going to restart the shell and hope that we don't corrupt anything. No answer. So I think I will just restart this. So we're going to close that one and then we'll redo it. So this, and then we'll do our keyal thing again. And I think this time I'll just select whatever the new one is. So we went to update. No upgrades available. Cool. So I guess it worked and just didn't say anything. It wouldn't like finish out the script. So that's good. Okay, let's go back. I don't believe there's anything else that we need to do here. Let's check out advanced. Yeah, I may have to do that, but we'll come back to it. So in the meantime, does that stay if I close it? Okay. All right. In the meantime, let's reconnect over here. Let's see what we can do as far as stuff and things. Okay. Unknown pin chip name probe. Let's check out what I have in here. Okay. There are bed fans, although I don't know where I connected them because I haven't yet. That's right. So I need to run a wire from where the bed fans are down into the case and make that connection. But right now they are installed up under the bed and I have them on a Wago mount. So I can just connect a 2-wire cable, run that down the chain real quick, and then plug that into the board. That'll give me some bed fans. But again, I'm waiting for that later on. Control C. Yeah, already passed it, happy. Chat doesn't move as quickly as it probably should sometimes. Great. So that's a thing. I'm using limited core XY here because I am using Calico. And limited core XY allows me to have different accelerations for different axes. So my Y can be different than my X. And of course, all of this is going to have to change. My SHT36 should be fine. that's already flashed with CAN bus and everything. We just need to get our Leviathan talking. Yes. Okay. So let's do some of that. What is up here? What's going on? Updates are available. Let's see. I think we're good on all the updates. We'll see what happens here. I think once I get this thing flashed, though, that's where we'll call the stream. Going almost 4 hours today. I got some advice to sort of chop up the live streams that we've been doing and turn them into shorts. That way we drive more people to the channel. And so I want to explore that today, and I want to work on that a little bit. Oh, there are actual updates, so let's get through some of that stuff. There's one. Let's update Shake Tune. Great. Let's do Auto Tune. Do you guys run all these same like plugins? Let's see, Shake Tune. I think that's a pretty common one. The other one, Auto Tune, TMC Auto Tune, and then Camp. Are you guys using that at all? Klipper Backup. I use that because it pushes backups to the repo. Going to work till 1 a.m. Everyone have a good day and print more because you can. All right, Steven, see you. Thanks for hanging out. I'm probably going to wrap this up in hopefully 20-ish minutes. Mobile Raker, yeah, that way I can do stuff from inside the house without having to log on to my PC. And then MotorSync. So MotorSync is for all-wheel drive setups. So because the inertia cube is that, I like MotorSync because it makes your two Ys get into the same phase as your two X's. And I've had good experience with that one on the Trident, so I added it to the inertia cube as well. You got rid of Camp since adaptive mesh is integrated. That's a good point. I don't know that I have it activated in the macros or anything like that. I hope I don't. But you're right. I probably don't need it anymore. Cool. So we are all up to date. I feel comfortable flashing things now. So let me go back over to where we were. It looks like we're going to put this board into DFU mode by, let's see, we're already into the Pi, so that's great. Let's check out this one. And my boot button is on the left side. Okay. So it says press the S2 and S1 button as the same time, and then release the S1 first, followed by the S2. So both at the same time, release the reset, and then release the boot. I can do that. All right, so fat finger, we got one. Ooh, that's kind of warm in there. Let me get another one. So fat finger, there's my boot, there's my reset. I saw the light go out. Release the reset. I'm gonna hold that for a couple of seconds. I think I remember having to do this on my other Leviathan on my V2. Hold that for like 5 or 10 seconds, whatever it is, and then release. And that's the only way I remember being able to get my Leviathan into DFU mode. Let's see if that actually happened. So, let's see, 4, and then it's connected via USB. Unable to connect. All right, let's get out of this. Let's try this the old school way. Quit that, and we'll do LS USB. There she is, right there. All right, so this is going to be a standard number that happens almost all the time. I've not seen that be different when things are in DFU mode. So as I look through the rest of this, it's going to tell you should see an output device here. That's what I saw. I don't know why this continues to click buttons. But now it says install Clipper. If it's not already installed, using the following options: Kiao, recommended, or Clipper from the GitHub. Do that. So we've already installed Clipper and all that stuff, so we got ahead of the manual a little bit. I'm going to skip through that stuff. I'm not sure that Catapult and everything is installed, so we'll work on that right now. So first it wants me to do this command. So we're going to update everything, make sure Git is installed, just do a clean check. And then our next command, I'll go ahead and get that one ready. Great, so everything looks to be up to date. I don't know what this cache thing is about. Could not get lock. This is weird. Anybody know what this means? It's just repeating over and over, and I don't know why that's doing that. I mean, it doesn't look like an error, but it's waiting for something that it's not getting. Probably let it go for another 10 seconds or so, and then I'm going to close this out because I don't know how to exit out of things. So Happy earlier said try Control-C. Hey, that worked. Whatever. Great, thanks for the tip. Let's try this next one. Virtual environment line they want me to do. Error, unrecognized environment. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm good and don't need to do it? I hate Linux. Alright. Settings for USB or CAN interface and building the bootloader. Okay, so I have to do this regardless. Make sure I didn't miss a step. I feel like I might have. UART, we did that for CAN. Okay, I think we're good. One of step 7 is where we were. So we did that one. Oh shit, I missed this guy. Yeah, we didn't do the catapult stuff, so it looks like the last one I ran was the Git update, and then we need to download catapult. Maybe that's why it failed. Let's try that. Okay, so catapult's already there. Let's try that other command again. Yeah, same thing, so I guess we're good. Then we're gonna cd into catapult make menu config. Too many arguments. What? Get out of here. Too many arguments. I don't even know what the hell that means. So let's do an ls, and then let's try cd into catapult alone, and then let's try make menu config, and there we go. So I think I was just asking it to do too much at the same time. Great. All right. Copy the settings as shown in the screenshot. The important settings. Important settings, let's drop you down, are this. So open this guy. Looking for an H743 with a 25 megahertz crystal on USB 1112 with a 128 offset. I can do that. Okay. So bringing this up, we'll do STM. We said it's going to be an H743 like that. We're not building a catapult application, I don't think. Just verify real quick. Yeah, do not build. And we said this was 25 megahertz, which is great. 1112 standard, 128 great, and then the last one, so we need the bootloader on reset. We'll do a status LED, and then that LED will be Papa Echo 1. And then we can queue for quit, yes to save. Just to be sure, we'll do a make clean, and then we'll do a make. Now we're just looking for that output to be a catapult.bin. And nearly there. There we go, catapult.bin. And then now we just need to flash that to the Leviathan. So if I take my... so we know that it's in DFU mode already, if I could speak. You could verify that by just doing the LS USB again. We could see that it's still in DFU mode. Just going to copy over this, which is going to erase what's on the board, flash the bin file that we just created, and we're going to ignore the warnings for now to see if we get a finish. There we go. So file downloaded successfully. That's what we were looking for. Should be good to go. Let's see. We've done that. Going back to our instructions here. For the USB interface, verify catapult is flashed successfully. Press the SW1 button on the board and then do the LS USB, and we should see an OpenMoko thing. So I'm gonna reach over here and reset this board. So just press that reset key. I saw that light change on the board itself. And then we'll do that same LS USB command from before, and we get what we need with the OpenMoko right there. So it looks like that was successful. And then if I do the LS, what's it called? The LS serial by ID. It's like being weird. I was going to copy that over, and there we go. Copy that over. There is our board name. So I'm just going to take note of this. Copy all of that. I'm going to go over to my fluid config here and drop that in right here. So that should be our new board. So I'm going to save and restart that. Come back over here. And what else do we have? We've got, the next step says, for USB or UART, verify the catapult is flashed successfully. Press the software button on the board and check the bootloader status LED is blinking. I think that's how we're doing it. So let me press that button real quick. And that is blinking. I think you can see it. Maybe it's blocked right here. Beneath these two LEDs that are lit, there's another LED that you'll see. It's kind of blocked by this port, but it's blinking right now. So that's what we were looking for. Let's see if this shows it. Yeah, that LED right there. And it's blinking, so we're good. All right, now let's do some Klipper stuff. So first things first, we gotta change directories. And I'm gonna do a CD, and then we could do CD, not DC. Control CU, CD. There we go. Back out. Let's do CD to Klipper, and we're there. And we could do a make menu config here. Great. And then I know that I'm gonna need some extra low-level stuff. We're gonna change this to an STM32. It's gonna be that same bootloader. I'm sorry, the same processor as before, the 743, with the 128 kilobit bootloader. Your clock is still 25, just as it was before, and then we're still using that USB. Here's where we get some extra features with Calico. So down here we can optimize the stepper code. for Calico. So I'm going to turn that on. And then the other one I'm going to do is the high precision stepping support. The slow portion means it may take a little longer to build that firmware, but that's okay. I'm running a Pi 4. It should be fine. We'll go with that. And then from there, I should be able to just do a make clean. And I just realized that these settings are the wrong ones. I need the CAN settings. So instead of using the USB, I need to flip-flop this to the bottom selection, which is that CAN bus bridge mode. And then that's going to be on PD 5 and 6. Just verifying my notes here. Yeah, so STM32 with the 743. We've got the 128 bootloader with the 25 crystal. We're on CAN bridge mode with 1112, and then our port is actually 5 and 6. Fantastic. We're on 1 million CAN bus speed. We're going to optimize and do high precision stepping. That should be good. Q, Y to save that, and then always do your make clean. It's going to remove any old configs you have in there, and then you can do your make. Like I said, this is going to take a few seconds longer to build because of those extra options that we enabled, but that's the benefit of Calico. If you're not leveraging some of those features, then there's really no reason to have Calico. Things like setting up sensorless homing is a lot easier. You get some extra stuff on your build that are unlocked. You can dictate which of your MCUs are unnecessary, so therefore it's not going to throw errors or shut down because you unplug an MCU, something like an 80XL. You can determine that those things are not necessary MCUs, so when you do unplug them, it's not going to shut down your config. Great, and that happened pretty quick. So just going to the next steps down here, flashing the clipper. So first things that we do, it says verify the bootloader active. So that LED should be blinking. It still is blinking for me. So we can do this same command from before. That ls serial by ID. It's going to give me the catapult thing that I had. And then to flash, I'm going to copy this other thing. Copy that one in there. And that did not work for me. So let's try something else. We'll do these a little bit at a time because for whatever reason it's trying to click the thing that I want to just highlight. What is happening? So yeah, for whatever reason it's not trying to flash stuff. So let's see. Let's copy this one. Try that one. Yeah, that's just not flashing there. Okay, so let's try the second one, and we'll do it with this portion. Paste that there, and then I need a space, and we'll try, what does it start with? Sorry, it starts with the whole thing, so we do need the dev portion of it. So we'll do all of this to here, right click to paste that, and try that, and it's still not flashing. Oh, I see why. Okay, so we'll do that, and then there's another space, -F, out/clipper.bin. Still not working. What in the world? I'm not sure why that's not going. Okay, let's do a little bit of troubleshooting here. Looking at this, that's what I was able to pull. This is our script here, so it should be what I connected to. But for whatever reason, it's not doing it. I mean, from what I can tell, the command is correct. So -F out klipper.bin. I don't know why that is not working for me. Yeah, no matter what I do, it's just not going. Dang. Why is that not working? Anybody have any ideas? Like why this is not working for us? Let me try resetting the board. Alright, let's try this one more time. Let's see if that'll go. Yeah, it's just not wanting to flash. Interesting. Well, I don't know what else to do, guys. Because we tried the USB version of this, the TTY whatever, and that doesn't want to flash. I tried the CAN version, that also doesn't want to flash. Corrupt micro SD. Why do you say it's corrupt? Because we were just doing all sorts of other things with the SD card and it was working fine. The Leviathan does not have its own SD card. It only on the Pi. Or Linux install is hosed. Now let's try this. Try this other command here. Let's try that, and let's see if the CAN. Yeah, so CAN is not even working. I wonder if I need to reboot. Let's try that. Sometimes turning it off, turning it back on will make things happen. I hope the Linux install is not hosed. I don't want to redo this whole process. Hey, LTX Designs. Thanks for popping in. It's so funny. You get here like as I'm starting to wrap. Yeah, we're hitting up on the 4-hour mark, and that's about all I can do today. So we're gonna wrap stream in about 10-15 minutes. Trying to figure out some Klipper stuff and why the board doesn't want to flash on Inertia Cube. It's taking its sweet time connecting back. Same exact thing happened on Armor's stream. You popped in right as he finished. Yeah, I think we caught you last, what was it, the last stream I did? We caught you a little late as well. Connection timed out. Now it doesn't even want to, the Pi doesn't even want to talk anymore. Oh, by the way, did you guys watch the episode where, the episode of the Unspooled podcast earlier this week, where I got to be a guest? I think some of you were over there. If you didn't catch it, I posted it on my channel as well. So that's up for public too. I had a really good conversation with Corey and Steve, and it sounds like maybe we get a Killer Prince themed filament. Still early days, still in kind of the, I don't know, conception phase, but I'm hoping it happens. I think what we're looking at is we would need minimum orders. And if we can get minimum orders and people to commit, it sounds like that's the impetus to get it going. I agree. It would be awesome to be able to get some stuff going, to have my own filament branded. Yeah, I'd be excited for that. And then we could do a whole build with that. But LTX Designs, you're a member, so I think we should recap you because it doesn't look like the Pi is going to play nice today. Now it doesn't want to connect to the shell at all, so probably a good time to walk away, have a beer, come back. So we'll take a look at what we did today so I can catch you up, and then I'll give you the back brief on what we're planning to do, and we'll go from there. How's that sound? All right, so if you were watching the stream months ago when I built this initially, I think it was back in May, maybe when I started, maybe June, we had a Corvus G board in here, and that board was working just fine, but somebody wanted it, decided to trade me up for a Leviathan, so here we go. We've got a Leviathan with an expansion board. I call it a limousine, in here now. And so this morning, rewired everything for this, cleaned it up to make it look presentable. We just finished flashing stuff. I had to change out the CAN cable because it was literally an inch too short, and so I had to get a long one out and redo everything. So that's what we did. When you popped in, we were trying to get the CAN stuff figured out and the Klipper stuff figured out, and just kind of hit a roadblock right at the same time. Because that Pi just does not want to talk to anything. So what I'm going to do is power down the machine and try to deal with it after taking a little bit of a break. The other things we talked about are, let's see, we picked a theme for the members only build. And that theme, I think the poll kind of went away after a while. But we're going to do a salad fork on the stream for members only. I'm going to turn it over to you all on what that looks like. So we're going to do a Darkwing Duck kind of theme, and Happy's going to do some awesome panels for us for that one. I'm going to let you guys pick what hot end we put in it, what main board we run on it. There'll probably be some other decision points along the way that I allow you guys to choose what we do. Mainly probably main board, tool head board, hot end, extruder, tool head all together. What do we want to run on it? Do we want a night owl or not? That kind of stuff. So watch out for the polls if you're a member, and be sure to vote. I'll try to get them out there at least a week in advance so you guys can decide what we want to do, and then I can prep and print the correct parts that we need. There's also some interest in like choosing some of the mods that go into the salad fork, things like inverted electronics, maybe some other mods that I'm not familiar with. I need to do my research over there and come up with a game plan for that. But my plan is to turn it over to you all as a thank you for your support. But boys and girls, that's about the stream for today. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll take any last questions or comments or really anything you want to talk about before we get out of here. I'm going to hang out for another couple minutes and then, I don't know, turn this off, turn it back on, see what happens. Yeah, see you, Tin Talon, no problem. I enjoy doing this stuff as much as you all enjoy watching it, so just thanks for being a member. We are going to stream on Sunday. I think... What do I want to do? I think I need to get back onto the V0 for the raffle. And we got to start getting closer to finishing that project up. So I'll probably spend a little bit of time on that this afternoon. Tomorrow, definitely going to spend time on that. But the evening time, we're going to a family event, to a festival. So I'll do what I can during the day. And then whatever is left over on Sunday, we'll get to. So no real plan yet because I don't know where I'm going to be when Sunday morning comes around. Well, we'll stream on Sunday. I am not going to stream on Monday like I thought I would. I just really kind of want that day to decompress and recover. And then we'll get back onto a regular schedule. I'll keep you guys informed on what's going on with the salad fork and when we can start that project. There's also the Delta Flyer is coming in from Jason. So thanks to him for supporting and sending that over. As soon as it arrives, I've heard it's already shipped. So as soon as that arrives in the next couple days, I'll share that with you. Yeah, and we'll build that one publicly on stream. That'll be our next thing after we finish raffles and start getting into the holiday season. Cool. So thank all of you for coming out. Thanks for being a member. I hope this is valuable for you. Keep in touch with the channel. Watch for the posts so that you can get in there and make your voices heard on what you want to see go into that salad fork build. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you guys on Sunday. Be safe.